Chapter 171, Chapter Beauty Trap, Anal Current Situation, Chapter 171. Chapters Honey Trap, Zio Gang's Current Situation. Next, we invite Emperor Zhu Yi of our Heaven Du Empire, School Master Ning of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and Bishop Salas of the Spirit Hall in Heaven Du City to personally present the promotion certificates and bonuses to the 6 advancing teams. The so-called promotion certificate was actually just a handwritten note, a mere formality, as the qualifying teams had already become famous. Whether they had the note or not was irrelevant. Regarding the bonus, the 2nd to 6th place teams received the same amount, which was 10,000 gold coins. However, the 1st place team, perhaps because they were the main team of Heaven Du Royal Academy and had brought great honor to the Heaven Du Empire, was directly given 100,000, more than the combined total of the 2nd to 6th place teams. Soon, the awards were presented, and the MC handed the microphone over to the 3 members of the Spirit Master Organizing Committee. The first to speak was naturally Zhu Yi, the Emperor of the Heaven Du Empire. His gaze swept over the main and vice-captains of the 6 qualifying teams before him, and after a series of uninformative remarks, Emperor Zhu Yi bestowed the title of Viscount upon the main and vice-captains of the 5 teams ranked 2nd to 6th, and Baron upon their team members. Finally, Emperor Zhu Yi looked at Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing, bestowing upon them the title of Earl, and upon their team members the title of Viscount. This action undoubtedly drew the dissatisfaction of Bishop Salas. One should know that any imperial Viscount could obtain a small city as a fief. Not to mention the Earl titles of Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing. But Emperor Zhu Yi completely ignored Saras's displeasure and continued to promise that the empire would, in the future, hunt a spirit beast of less than 30,000 years for the 6 qualifying teams to serve as their next spirit ring. Ning Chuan scoffed at this in his heart, because he knew deeply that this was a world where the strong preyed on the weak, and only by improving one's own strength was the most practical thing. Next, it was Ning Fengzhai and Saras's turn to speak. Ning Fengzhai once again embarked on his path of courting death, constantly making sarcastic remarks and jumping around when Bishop Salas attempted to recruit outstanding spirit masters from the qualifying teams. This made Saras's teeth itch with anger. Ning Chuan couldn't bear to watch this suicidal behavior. One could only say that the 7 treasure glazed tile school's destruction in the original work was truly not unjust. If you're going to defecate on someone's head, who else would they destroy? Emperor Zhu Yi was undoubtedly happy to see the conflict erupt between the 2, and seeing them constantly engaging in verbal sparring, he stepped in to mediate as usual. Then, with a slight burning gaze, he looked at the 12 elites who had emerged from the preliminaries, smiled slightly, and said, "The promotion rounds will be held a month from now. I hope you all make further breakthroughs during this period. Additionally, the gates of the Heaven Du Empire are always open to you." After saying this, Emperor Zhu Yi turned and left, escorted by the 3 Heaven Du Royal Academy deans and a host of imperial officials. Ning Chuan and Zhuqing, I greatly anticipate your performances in the promotion rounds and the grand finals. The same goes for you, Tang San. Ning Fengzhai also said a few words, then left. As for Saras, he merely gave Ning Chuan and Tang San a meaningful look before departing, saying nothing. When Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing walked out of the Great Spirit Arena together, the others were already waiting for them outside. Now the preliminaries were over, and the promotion rounds were still a month away. Yu Feng and Oslo both planned to return and use the simulated cultivation environment to attempt to break through the 40th level bottleneck, to see if they could break through before the grand finals. Ning Chuan also planned to go back and continue cultivating. He also intended to give Shinian's 7-in-1 fusion technique to Louise for research. Just as the new Royal Fight team members were about to return to the academy, a sudden clear voice stopped them. "Stop right there." Everyone turned their heads to look, only to see a beautiful young woman with long, wavy red hair and a golden-red female combat suit walking towards them. She stopped about 2.5 meters away and full of momentum, said to Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan, do you have the guts to fight me without using your spirit? All the members of the new royal fight team laughed, and even the Shrek members waiting outside for Tang San and Dai Mubai showed expressions of surprise, especially Oscar. During those 3 months of carrying stones and drinking salt water, he and Dai Mubai, forced to carry tanks and covered in feces, had been beaten by Ning Chuan quite a bit. He knew deeply that this guy was incredibly strong in close combat, in addition to his spirit. All right. As expected by everyone, Ning Chuan readily agreed. As his words fell, Ning Chuan's figure flickered and disappeared from everyone's sight, reappearing behind Huo Wu. Huo Wu looked around, and seeing no sign of Ning Chuan, her heart panicked. Instinctively feeling danger, she threw a punch behind her, but Ning Chuan casually seized her wrist and twisted it gently. Huo Wu was forced into a graceful turn, bending forward at the waist, her back to Ning Chuan, unable to move. Huo Wu cried out in pain and cursed, "Bastard, let go of me." What kind of man ambushes someone? Before she could finish speaking, Ning Chuan had already kicked her perky buttocks. Huo Wu felt a sharp pain in her rear, followed by an ouch, and her entire body flew out, landing in Fire Wushwang's arms, who had just arrived. Ning Chuan's kick wasn't heavy, but it was enough to make her butt ache for a while, serving as a lesson to prevent her from coming to bother him for no reason. To call being subdued in one move an ambush, you truly are a talent. If you can't stand losing, then don't be a spirit master. Just go home obediently and find a man, get married, and have children. After saying this, Ning Chuan led the new royal fight team away with large strides. "Bastard, I'll kill you. Ouch." Huo Wu, caught by her brother, still wanted to rush out, but her butt hurt again, and her whole body seemed to twist at the waist as if dancing, falling towards the ground. At the critical moment, Fire Wushwang caught her, otherwise she would have made another spectacle of herself. "Sister, are you all right?" Fire Wushwang asked worriedly. "I'm fine, brother. Quickly help me up. I'm going to kill that bastard just now." Huo Wu was almost in tears from anger. Losing to Ning Chuan twice in a row was one thing, but his words just now were like a needle, deeply piercing her competitive heart. What did he mean by "if you can't stand losing? Then don't be a spirit master. Just go home obediently and find a man, get married, and have children"? Who was he looking down on? Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share Infinite Novel Audio. Fire Wushwang sighed but shook his head. "You're still wasting your effort. No matter how you fight, you won't be his opponent. Not only you, but even any one of the 3 spirit kings from Spirit Hall, if taken out individually, probably wouldn't be his opponent. If you truly want to defeat him, stop being so unreasonable. Cultivate properly. Once a spirit master reaches level 50, their cultivation speed will significantly decrease, especially for those with lower talent. You should understand what I mean." Exactly, Sister Huo Wu. Let's work hard together." Feng Xiaoshan emerged from the crowd, his face filled with righteous indignation. If it were the original Huo Wu, after witnessing Feng Xiaoshan's strength, which was far superior to her own, she might have eventually been moved by Feng Xiaoshan, like in the original work. But after Ning Chuan said, "Don't be a spirit master, find a man, get married, and have children," Huo Wu now found Feng Xiaoshan annoying the moment she saw him. "Get lost. You've already lost to Ning Chuan. Our previous agreement is null and void. Don't bother me again from now on." After coldly spitting out these words, Huo Wu wiped away her tears, endured the stinging pain in her buttocks, and limped away. Fire Wushwang looked at Feng Xiaoshan with a complicated expression, patted his shoulder gently, and followed suit helplessly. Leaving Feng Xiaoshan alone, lost in the wind, the other Wind Spirit Academy members who had followed them all showed sympathetic expressions. It seemed their captain had been rejected again. He was truly tragic. On the other side, not long after Ning Chuan and the others left the Great Spirit Arena, they were stopped by another person, a servant driving a prince's residence carriage. "Lord Ning Chuan, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince requests your presence." Looking at the prince's residence carriage, Ning Chuan knew he couldn't avoid it today. He turned to Zhu Zhuqing, Louise, Ning Rongrong, Yilingaling, and the others, saying, "You all go back first. I have an appointment with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. I'll be back by tomorrow morning at the latest." The others didn't doubt him and nodded lightly. A moment later, Ning Chuan arrived at the prince's residence in the prince's residence carriage. From the outside, the prince's residence occupied a vast area, and its walls were as high as 6 or 7 meters, looking very grand. It was not hard to see that inside must be an extremely luxurious manor. However, after walking inside, Ning Chuan found that it was not luxurious at all. Rather than luxurious, it was elegant, with a scholarly atmosphere. It gave him the feeling of walking into an ancient academy from his previous life on Blue Star. Following the attendant, he arrived at a clean courtyard in the deepest part of the prince's residence. After having a maid serve tea, the attendant left. About a quarter of an hour later, Kayan Rengsu walked in from outside the door, her voice preceding her arrival. "Ning Chuan, you finally arrived. You really made me wait." Snow brother. Ning Chuan instinctively went to give her a bear hug, but to his surprise, the other party did not dodge. Instead, after a moment of surprise, she greeted him very warmly. This made Ning Chuan stop in his tracks and change his hug to a handshake. I wonder if Snow brother specifically sought me out for something. He had already seen through it. The Kayan Rengsu before him was fake, likely someone Kayan Rengsu had found to impersonate Zhu King. Because the real Kayan Rengsu would not be willing to hug him. Each time, he had only succeeded in taking advantage of her when she wasn't paying attention. Next, the other party's words confirmed Ning Chuan's guess. Ning Chuan truly has a short memory. "Didn't I say last time that I wanted to introduce a friend to you? Miss Kai Zhu, please come in." As the words fell, crisp footsteps came from outside the door. From Ning Chuan's many years of experience, it was the sound of high heels clashing with the floor. Following the sound, a pair of long, perfect jade legs came into view. White long-tube high heels with golden trim, alluring pure white stockings and moving up the thighs. There was a court-style long dress woven with gold thread, slit very high, but regrettably, safety shorts were worn, which was a pity. Moving up as the peaks rose, there was a stunningly beautiful face with a hint of majesty, snow-white skin, a straight nose, slightly slender phoenix eyes, and brilliant golden hair, with the long dress flowing as she walked. Although her features overlapped somewhat with Yilingaling after her spirit's second awakening, she still caused Ning Chuan's expression to momentarily freeze. Undoubtedly, this was a beauty, and she was the most beautiful one Ning Chuan had ever seen. In terms of appearance alone, perhaps only Yilingaling, whose spirit had evolved, could compare to her. Even Little Cat and Ning Rongrong, whom he had already eaten, were slightly inferior. And the identity of the other party was already self-evident. Douluo Continent's top beauty, Kayan Rengsu. "Your Highness, is there anything you need me for?" Kayan Rengsu observed Ning Chuan's reaction, secretly pleased, and looked at Zhu King as she asked. Zhu King's acting seemed to be subpar. After hearing Kayan Rengsu call him Your Highness, he paused for a moment before smiling and saying, "Miss Kai Zhu, didn't I tell you last time that I wanted to introduce a friend to you? Let me introduce him. This is Master Louise's disciple, and also the captain of the Heaven Du Royal Academy's main team, Ning Chuan. He is 14 years old, his spirit is the Azure Bamboo Bee Cloud Sword, and he is a 48th level attack system battle spirit ancestor. Just now, he led the Heaven Du Royal Academy's main team to defeat all the teams in the preliminaries, qualifying in first place." Saying this, he then looked at Ning Chuan. "Ning Chuan, let me introduce you to the friend I wanted to introduce to you, Kai Zhu. She is 24 years old, her spirit is the Sacred Flame Sword, and she is a 65th level attack system battle spirit emperor." As soon as these words fell, Ning Chuan and Kayan Rengsu both became dramatic. 14 years old, 48th level. 24 years old, 65th level, they exclaimed in unison. Zhu King smiled slightly and continued, "Miss Kai Zhu comes from a hidden family. She is the most talented person in the Sacred Flame Sword family in several hundred years. It is only because I once had a past acquaintance with their family head that I invited her to be a guest at my prince's residence." My purpose this time is nothing else than seeing that you are both holders of top-tier tool spirits of the sword type. I want you to get to know each other." After saying this, Zhu King did not forget to give Ning Chuan a meaningful look, as if saying, "Ning Chuan, a ready-made beauty is right here. It's up to you if you can seize the opportunity." Ning Chuan felt speechless inside. After all this, Kaian Rengsu was using a honey trap on him. And she was personally leading it, and Kaian Rengsu was indeed thinking this way. According to her plan, she would first leave an unforgettable impression on Ning Chuan. Then she would disappear, and finally, her disguised Zhu King would use Kai Zhu to achieve the goal of taming Ning Chuan, making him gradually submit to her. This was Kaian Rengsu's strategy to recruit Ning Chuan, this philandering man. Meanwhile, as Kaian Rengsu was employing her honey trap on Ning Chuan, the new royal fight team had already arrived at the exit of Heaven Dew City. As soon as they stepped out of the city gate tower, they were stopped by Yu Xiaogang, who looked 20 years older, smelled of privet flowers, and had transformed into an old beggar. The Shi brothers immediately shielded everyone behind them and sternly asked, "Who are you and what do you want?" Yu Xiaogang, having learned from Ning Chuan not recognizing him last time, had become smarter. He didn't immediately reveal his identity, but instead said, "You must be fellow students Shimo and Shimo, correct?" Chapter 172, Yu Xiaogang learns that Tang San wants to kill her. "Who are you?" Upon hearing the other party call out the Shi brothers' names, Shimo and Shimo, as well as the rest of the new royal fight team, all showed confused expressions. It was Ning Rongrong who recognized Yu Xiaogang at a glance, asking with some hesitation, "Are you Yu Xiaogang?" Yes, it's me, Rongrong, I am Yu Xiaogang." Seeing that someone finally recognized him, Yu Xiaogang quickly admitted it, no longer caring that this former student called him by his full name. More than a month of beggar life had almost worn down the arrogance in his heart. He now only wanted to return to Shrek Academy, return to Flender and everyone else. He no longer wanted to live this inhuman, ghost-like life, begging during the day, getting pounded at night, a life worse than pigs and dogs. It really was Yu Xiaogang. Hearing Yu Xiaogang's reply, everyone re-examined him, and only then could they vaguely make out some of his former outlines. It was just that the current Yu Xiaogang was too miserable. He had aged nearly 20 years, looking like a decrepit old man, and was also effeminate like an old eunuch in the palace, so it was no wonder they didn't recognize him immediately. Ning Rongrong couldn't help but laugh. "It really is you. Didn't you go out for something? How did you suddenly become like this?" Yu Xiaogang was afraid that he would be abandoned again like Ning Chuan last time, so he didn't hide anything and quickly said, "Sigh, don't mention it. Last time, didn't I go with you all to Sunset Forest to hunt spirit rings for Little San, Mubai, Zio Wu, and Shimo? Then, halfway through, I left for Spirit City on urgent business. As a result, I hadn't even left the Heaven Dew Empire's border when I was robbed. Not only were my spirit tools and all the money and dry food inside them plundered, but my spirit power was also crippled by that damn bandit, leaving me unable to return to Heaven Dew Royal Academy and unable to enter Heaven Dew City, which is why I've fallen to this state." He concealed the fact that he had been castrated and had met Ning Chuan. Otherwise, not only would he be ridiculed, but these people would likely also ignore him after hearing that Ning Chuan didn't care for him. And after listening to Yu Xiaogang's ordeal, everyone was terrified, looking at each other in dismay. They couldn't help but recall the words Tang San shouted when Shrek was hit by Kanghui Academy's 7-in-1 fusion technique. Finally, Yu Feng was the first who couldn't help but complain. Could it be that Tang San was the one who did this to Yu Xiaogang? Although Yu Xiaogang is a bit, that he is still Tang San's teacher, how could he? Oslo shook his head. That's probably impossible. We've been in competitions this whole time. There's been no chance for him to do anything. Ning Rongrong said, "How is it impossible? Don't forget, he personally said he wanted to kill Yu Xiaogang. Even if he didn't have time to do it himself, couldn't he have his titled Douluo father do it?" Yilingling echoed. "Rongrong is right. Yan Yan was killed that way back then." Yu Xiaogang being messed up like this, It's also fortunate he still has the identity of Tang San's teacher. Listening to their conversation, Yu Xiaogang was already bewildered. What were they saying? That he became this ghostly appearance because his disciple Tang San, or Tang San's father, Clear Sky Douluo, did it. How could this be? How could Tang San? How dare Tang San? Is he not afraid of being branded with the infamous name of betraying his teacher and destroying his ancestors? Thinking of this, Yu Xiaogang still refused to believe that the disciple he had painstakingly nurtured for 8 or 9 years would treat him this way. He forced a smile and asked, "Are you kidding me?" Ning Rongrong said with disdain, "Who's kidding with you?" "Your proud disciple Tang San, because he resented you for giving him 3 poison attribute spirit rings, which caused him to have continuous diarrhea during the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament. Personally revealed his desire to kill you after being hit by Kanghui Academy's 7-in-1 fusion technique. This news has already spread throughout Heaven Dew City. You probably only don't know because you've been living in the beggar's den all this time." Boom! Upon hearing this, Yu Xiaogang was instantly struck by lightning. Could it be that his current ghostly appearance was truly caused by Tang San? Thinking carefully, the method of his castration was almost identical to the method Tang San used to castrate Dai Mubai. It was by having the flesh sliced off piece by piece from below. Thinking of this, Yu Xiaogang instantly collapsed. He screamed to the sky as if he had gone mad, retreating backward while looking at the new royal fight team, saying, "Impossible, impossible. I am Little San's teacher. He wouldn't kill me. He can't kill me. I am his teacher." Just then, a hoarse, familiar voice approached from afar. "Xiaogang." Everyone looked simultaneously, only to see the Shrek, a group of people walking out from the Heaven Dew City gate. Clearly, they had the same plan as the new royal fight team, to use the Heaven Dew Royal Academy's simulated cultivation environment to improve their strength. The one who spoke was Flender. Although Yu Xiaogang had transformed from a scruffy, flat-headed, decadent middle-aged man into an old eunuch 20 years older than his actual age, but he recognized his now infamous sworn brother at a glance. Well, they're here. Tang San is also here. If you don't believe it, go ask him yourself, Ning Rongrong said, too lazy to deal with Yu Xiaogang and the Shrek group anymore, as they were not on the same path anyway. Zhu Zhuking, Louise, Yilingling, and the rest of the new royal fight team were also of the same mind. The group left directly without waiting for the Shrek group to approach. Seeing Flender, seeing this great savior he had longed for day and night, Yu Xiaogang did not feel the excitement and exhilaration he had imagined. All he felt was anger at why the other party had not come to find him, making him suffer so much, endure so much pain, and be queued up daily by the people in the beggar's den. However, compared to his anger towards Flender, Yu Xiaogang was more concerned about Tang San's attitude towards him, whether he was truly harmed by Tang San. He walked directly past Flender, who was at the very front, and approached Tang San. With a pair of old hands, whose skin was like withered tree bark from serving countless beggars, he placed them on Tang San's sturdy shoulders and asked in an almost pleading tone, "Little San, I am your teacher. You wouldn't kill me, right? Right? It wasn't you who sent people to rob me and cripple my spirit power, right? Right?" Upon hearing this, the Shrek group suddenly recalled that Tang San seemed to have always wanted to kill Yu Xiaogang. Yu Tianheng asked in surprise, "Uncle, your spirit power was crippled." Flender, on the other hand, was full of worry. "Xiaogang, what exactly happened? How did you become like this?" But Yu Xiaogang seemed not to have heard their words, only clutching Tang San's shoulders tightly, constantly pressing, "Answer me quickly, Little San, you wouldn't kill me, right? I am your teacher. You wouldn't kill me, right? My spirit power wasn't crippled by you, right?" Chapter 173, Master and Disciple Reunion. In fact, at this moment, Yu Xiaogang was already 70 to 80% sure that Tang San was responsible for his predicament. After all, he had seen Tang San's attitude towards him before. In addition, Tang San had also disgraced himself by defecating during the Soul Master competition in front of various dignitaries of the Heaven Dew Empire and major advanced Spirit Master academies. It would be strange if he didn't harbor murderous intent towards him. However, he still hoped Tang San would say no. Only then could he continue his unfinished dream, become a revered theoretical grandmaster, gain recognition from his father and clan, and prove to that woman from Spirit Hall who once abandoned him that he was not a good-for-nothing. As for whether Tang San was the one who harmed him, all that no longer mattered, as long as he could get rid of his reputation as a good-for-nothing and not be harmed again in the future. So, the question is, did Tang San want to kill Yu Xiaogang? Of course, he did. He thought about it constantly. Even at this moment, if Flender and the others weren't present, and it wasn't in broad daylight, he would have long since ground Yu Xiaogang, this good-for-nothing who ruined him, to dust. However, Yu Xiaogang losing his spirit power was somewhat unexpected. Although this good-for-nothing deserved it, someone else did what he wanted to do but feared being accused of betraying his teacher and ancestors, so he didn't do it. But he really didn't lay a hand on Yu Xiaogang, nor did he have the opportunity to harm this good-for-nothing. Could it have been Dad? Surprisingly, it's quite possible. I should ask him later. But whether it was his father Tang Hao or not, he wouldn't admit it. Thinking that in the future, he would need to rely on the other party to obtain the cultivation method for overcoming the difficulties of twin spirits from the Pope of Spirit Hall when cultivating his twin spirits. Tang San suppressed the killing intent in his heart and feigned innocence, saying, "Look at what you're saying. You are my teacher. I respect you too much to even think of harming you. As for crippling you, that's even more impossible. First, I wouldn't do such a foolish act of betraying my teacher and ancestors, and even if I would, I wouldn't have the time. During this period, I've been with everyone the whole time, and everyone can testify. Am I right? Even if you didn't do it, it was most likely your old man." The Shrek group exchanged glances, muttered to themselves, and nodded in unison, echoing, that's right, third brother has always been with us. How could he cripple his own teacher?" Only Yu Tianheng frowned. He stared directly at Tang San and said bluntly, "Tang San, do you dare to say that my uncle wasn't harmed by you or your father, Clear Sky Douluo? Swear on your spirit." He had already endured it once when his girlfriend mysteriously disappeared, and now it was his own uncle's turn. He didn't want to endure it anymore. This was bullying his own family. Others might fear the Clear Sky sect, but their Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan was not afraid. Of course. Tang San was secretly annoyed, but Yu Tianheng was an indispensable, powerful combatant for the upcoming promotion rounds and the finals. In the future, they would also need to unite with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan to fight against Spirit Hall. It was not yet time to fall out. Just as Tang San was about to swear, Xiao Wu's voice rang out beside him. What's there to swear about? So what if it was third brother or third brother's father who did it? This liar has harmed third brother to this extent. Merely crippling his spirit power is letting him off easy. If you ask me, he should be castrated so he can't be a complete man. She didn't care whether Yu Xiaogang was harmed by Tang San or not. In short, it was fine to just assume he was responsible for everything. As expected, upon hearing these words, Yu Xiaogang's pupils constricted instantly. At this moment, he finally confirmed that he had been harmed by his proud disciple, Tang San. Because Xiao Wu was the person who understood Tang San best, and Xiao Wu's words were exactly consistent with his current situation. It had to be Tang San, no doubt about it. This girl is really ruthless. Dai Mubai glanced at his already bald lower regions, and for a moment, even thought it was a good idea. This good-for-nothing ruined his third brother to such a state. He should be made to be like himself. The others felt a chill in their lower bodies, instinctively clamping their legs together, muttering in their hearts, this girl is really ruthless. But looking at Yu Xiaogang, could it be that besides his spirit power, that thing of his was also crippled? Only Tang San felt a warmth in his heart, and the corners of his mouth slightly lifted. Indeed, only Xiao Wu and his father truly cared for him, protected him, and wished him well. Xiao Wu, this is not Master's fault. He didn't know things would turn out this way at the time. However, he still feigned a scolding. How should one describe this appearance? It was quite like someone who had gotten a good deal, but was still acting innocent. Xiao Wu snorted lightly and stopped speaking. Tang San raised his right hand, extended 3 dark fingers, looked at Yu Tianheng, and solemnly said, I swear, if I had my father secretly harm my teacher, then my spirit shall shatter, my spirit power shall never advance, and I shall become a cripple for life. Hearing this, Yu Tianheng had nothing to say, and Yu Xiaogang himself couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as Tang San didn't admit it, it was fine. If he had admitted it, he truly wouldn't know how to deal with himself. Flender also breathed a sigh of relief. If Tang San had indeed harmed Yu Xiaogang, he wouldn't know what to do. But Yu Xiaogang was crippled after all. How was he going to explain this to Erlong? Xiaogang, what exactly happened to you? Weren't you going to Spirit City? How did you end up like this out of nowhere? Flender asked the question he was most concerned about at the moment. Sigh, don't even mention it. As he spoke, Yu Xiaogang recounted the experiences he had previously told Ning Rongrong and the others. The only slight difference was that he added another detail. That was, Ning Chuan clearly recognized him but still watched him mingle with beggars. If not for that, he wouldn't have been exposed as a eunuch by the people in the beggar's den. And then he was queued up. Now, every hole he had, from top to bottom, front to back, had been queued up. After hearing Yu Xiaogang's ordeal, almost no one, except Flender and Yu Tianheng, sympathized with Yu Xiaogang. There was only Schadenfreude, for Yu Xiaogang was now infamous and disliked by everyone. What's more, some, like Tang San, were even more dissatisfied with Yu Xiaogang. Goodness, after all this time, it turned out this good-for-nothing had been gone for over a month, and hadn't found the twin spirits cultivation method for him at all. He had simply begged for food and returned alone. Flender said with a bitter smile. You've changed so much now, even your voice has changed. Even I barely recognized you, so it's no wonder Ning Chuan didn't recognize you. Tang San suddenly spoke. Could it be that Ning Chuan was the one who harmed Master, which is why he happened to appear outside Heaven Dew City and deliberately pretended not to recognize him? He wanted to shift the blame to Ning Chuan. Chapter 174, Conquer. No, it should be conquered. Flender shook his head. Impossible. Xiaogang was harmed on the border of the Heaven Dew Empire. Ning Chuan, like you, is either competing or staying at Heaven Dew Royal Academy to cultivate. How could he possibly harm Xiaogang? Besides, there's no reason, there's no conflict between them. No matter what, it's still a fact that he saw my grandmaster in trouble and didn't help. Tang San didn't want to miss a single opportunity to badmouth Ning Chuan in front of Xiao Wu. Little San is right, Ning Chuan is a big scoundrel, Dai Mubai echoed. Then Oscar spoke up. To get Tang San to ask his father for help with the 7 treasure glazed tile school's trouble, he slandered Ning Chuan in every way possible. In my opinion, Grandmaster was most likely harmed by Ning Chuan. His goal was to frame Third Brother and ruin his reputation. The 3 of them cursed with increasing vigor, completely oblivious to Xiao Wu's increasingly gloomy face. As for Ma Hongjun, after witnessing Ning Chuan's strength in the preliminary round, he was already scared out of his wits and remained silent. The others secretly disdained Yu Xiaogang. With his ghostly appearance, his spirit power crippled, and his voice like a eunuch's, he had become a 60 or 70-year-old beggar. Besides Flender, probably only a ghost would recognize him. Yu Xiaogang skipped the previous topic. All right, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's talk about the Soul Master competition. Little San, did you qualify for the preliminaries? How were your results? Flender looked at the increasingly large crowd around them. They had become the center of attention at the Heaven Dew City gate. This isn't the place to talk. Let's leave here first. All right. Yu Xiaogang said, turning to head towards Heaven Dew Royal Academy, but Flender stopped him. Xiaogang, where are you going? Back to Heaven Dew Royal Academy. Yu Xiaogang replied as if it were the most natural thing in the world. He was still thinking of giving the little freaks special training before the promotion rounds began to further improve their strength. Qin Ming, who had not spoken the entire time, kindly reminded him. Grandmaster, perhaps you don't know, but because of Tang San's matter, on the very day of the preliminary opening ceremony, Emperor Zhu, you personally ordered your expulsion from Heaven Dew Royal Academy and forbade you from leading a team in the competition. What? Hearing this, Yu Xiaogang was so enraged that he spat out a mouthful of old blood. Is heaven truly trying to destroy me, Yu Xiaogang? Oh, vast heaven, why are you so cruel to me? Yu Xiaogang cried out to the sky in sorrow. Under such a heavy blow, coupled with his already extremely weakened body, he couldn't bear it and fainted, caught by Flender. Little San, Xiao Wu, Mubai, Tianheng, Hongjun, Little Ao stay. Qin Ming, you take the others back to Heaven Du Royal Academy first. Flender's expression was a little grim. Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share Infinite Novel Audio. In fact, if he hadn't considered that Tang San and the others still needed to compete, he would have already taken all of the Shrek teachers and students away from Heaven Du Royal Academy on the day Yu Xiaogang was expelled. After Qin Ming and the others left, Dai Mubai asked, "Dean, where are we going next?" Flender thought for a moment and said, "To Blue Tyrant Academy." Meanwhile, as Flender and the others took Yu Xiaogang to Blue Tyrant Academy, Ning Chuan and Qian Rengsu had already begun their dinner, hosted by Zhu King. Zhu King sat at the head of the main hall, Qian Rengsu on the left and Ning Chuan on the right. After a servant poured expensive red wine for the three, Zhu King raised his glass and said, "Brother Ning Chuan, Miss Kaizu, thank you both for attending this banquet." "King is deeply honored. Come, I'll toast you, Your Highness, please." Qian Rengsu elegantly raised her glass and took a small sip. Ning Chuan did the same. "Snow brother, please." After some polite flattery, Qian Rengsu gave Zhu King a look. Zhu King put down his glass and smiled. "Brother Ning Chuan, Miss Kaizu, you are both top-tier elites and both sword spirit holders. How about you spar a bit with your swordsmanship?" So this is what they were waiting for. It seems Qian Rengsu wants to take this opportunity to get revenge on me. "Well, I did take advantage of her so many times before," Ning Chuan muttered to himself, but his expression remained calm. "Snow brother, aren't you making things difficult for me? I'm just a small spirit ancestor, while Miss Kaizu is already a spirit emperor. I can't beat her. It's just a swordsmanship spar, a friendly match." Before Zhu King could finish speaking, Qian Rengsu stood up directly and said, "If you think it's unfair, then I cannot use spirit abilities and only duel you with pure swordsmanship." Qian Rengsu was very confident, not only in her swordsmanship, but also in her angel spirit. Not only does angel spirit power itself have a purifying effect on spirit power, but the sacred sword granted by the angel spirit's fifth spirit ability is also something Ning Chuan cannot resist. It is a long sword condensed from the angel spirit's sacred flame. Not only is its attack power formidable, comparable to a top-tier tool spirit, but it can also increase its own angel spirit power purification effect by 300%. Once struck, the enemy's spirit power will rapidly dissipate. Qian Rengsu firmly believed that as long as she defeated Ning Chuan, and with her beauty and temperament that were second to none, she would definitely be able to conquer Ning Chuan, making him dedicate his entire life to her. Zhu King chuckled and said, "Since Miss Kaizu is so interested, let's spar in the enclosed training ground on the west side of my prince's residence. Miss Kaizu just came from there, so she should know the location. No one will disturb you there. Good, I'll wait for you there." The last sentence was directed at Ning Chuan. After saying this, Qian Rengsu stood up and headed towards the enclosed training ground, leaving behind a heroic golden silhouette. After Qian Rengsu left, Zhu King stood up and came to Ning Chuan's side. Just as Ning Chuan had previously embraced Qian Rengsu's shoulder, he enthusiastically embraced Ning Chuan, smiling. "Brother Ning Chuan, what do you think of Miss Kaizu?" "What, Snow brother, do you want to marry her to be the crown prince consort?" Watching Qian Rengsu's retreating back, Ning Chuan's eyes narrowed slightly. "Is she trying to tame me, Ning? But unfortunately, only women are destined to be tamed by me, Ning." His words directly caused Zhu King to stumble, almost falling to the ground. Is this a question of whether he wants to or not? The key is that he wouldn't dare, the kind of not daring to even think about it. Cough. He lightly coughed and said, "Brother Ning Chuan, it is said that Grandmaster Louise also comes from a hidden family. You should know that hidden families have their own codes of conduct. They will not intermarry with royalty. So I thought of you. What do you think of this Miss Kai Zhu? Ning Chuan said frankly. Whether it's her appearance, temperament, or talent and strength, she's the most outstanding woman I have ever seen, bar none. However, Snow Brother should also know that I already have a girlfriend. As he spoke, Ning Chuan was already contemplating how to deal with Cayenne Rengsu. Chapter 175. Give it to the angel for free. I paid it back yesterday. Zhu King chuckled. Ning Chuan, don't decline. From what I know about you, you're not the type to be devoted to just one person. Otherwise, you wouldn't have so many girls around you, and even my teacher wants to marry her daughter to you. Besides, it's nothing for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Ning Chuan said with a helpless expression. Actually, Snow Brother, you don't need to do that. Given our relationship, if anyone dares to seize your throne in the future, I will definitely stand by your side. Zhu King said, I naturally know that. It just so happens that I know the patriarch of the Sacred Sword of Flame family. After seeing Kai Zhu by chance, I felt that she and Ning Chuan were a perfect match. If Ning Chuan can win Kai Zhu's favor, it would be a great thing for both you and me. All right then, for Snow Brother, I'll give it a try. But I think Kai Zhu looks very arrogant, so you'd best not have too much hope. Ning Chuan showed a reluctant expression. The prince's residence's enclosed training ground. Rather than a training ground, it was more like an underground world with a vast area, dozens of meters deep. At this moment, Cayenne Rengsu had already summoned her sacred sword, her eyes slightly closed, waiting quietly, killing intent. Suddenly, she sharply opened her eyes, feeling the temperature in the underground training ground drop sharply. A never-before-felt chill had appeared. This was something that had never happened before. At the same time, in the deepest corridor of the training ground, in a dark corner, a tall, thin figure and a sturdy figure stood there. The sturdy figure crossed his arms and said, Snake Lance, don't you think it's making too much of a fuss for the young master to go to such great lengths, even risking exposure by revealing his true form? Snake Lance said indifferently, Porcupine Fish, the young master has his own plans. We just need to obey. As for whether it's making a fuss, you'll know in a moment. Oh, have they arrived already? Crack. As he finished speaking, cracks appeared on the surface of the metal-inlaid wooden door of the training ground. Immediately after, the entire door flew out with a bang, smashing towards Cayenne Rengsu. Cayenne Rengsu's eyes narrowed slightly. She suddenly stepped forward, lunging with a diagonal slash, and the door was instantly split in two, revealing a cyan-transparent figure holding an emerald-green long sword. Crack. The pale golden electric arcs covering the long sword crackled. Taking advantage of the moment when Cayenne Rengsu's old strength from her diagonal slash was gone and new strength had not yet arrived, the cyan-transparent figure held the sword with both hands and chopped downwards. Clang. Cayenne Rengsu blocked it horizontally with both hands on her sword. The terrifying force directly caused Cayenne Rengsu's right knee to bend. Her delicate brows furrowed. Before she could react, 2 more identical cyan-transparent figures, holding azure bamboo bee cloud swords, flashed out from behind Ning Chuan's main body. As the 2 clones flashed out, 2 crackling sounds almost simultaneously rang out. The azure bamboo bee cloud swords in their hands transformed into lightning chains, binding the sacred sword in Cayenne Rengsu's hand. At this moment, the 4th clone appeared, swinging its azure bamboo bee cloud sword directly at Cayenne Rengsu. At this time, Cayenne Rengsu needed to defend against Ning Chuan's main body from the front, and her sacred sword was bound by the lightning chains of the 2 clones. These lightning chains, formed from pale golden lightning arcs, were very special. Although they couldn't restrain her, they could ignore her angel spirit power purification. Facing the combined attack of Ning Chuan's main body and these 3 clones, she was suddenly in an extremely dangerous situation. Her blue-gold pupils instantly widened, reflecting the appearance of Ning Chuan's azure bamboo bee cloud sword and his clones. Good kid, this strength is comparable to some spirit emperors. Snake Lance Douluo and Porcupine Fish Douluo, who were in the dark corner of the training ground, were also startled by Ning Chuan's combined attack. They never thought this kid would have such a combined attack skill. If anyone else faced it, let alone a spirit ancestor of the same level, it's likely that no one below Spirit Emperor, and even most Spirit Emperors, could withstand it. But unfortunately, their young master's strength was not as simple as just a Spirit Emperor. Just as the two titled Douluo were exclaiming, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black spirit rings appeared on Kayan Renksu's body. Every strand of her brilliant golden hair was glowing, and a pair of brilliant golden wings surged out from behind her and spread open. Her body seemed to defy gravity, slowly floating up and hovering a foot off the ground. Under the strong golden light, Kayan Renksu's eyes turned golden, and a huge phantom with 3 pairs of wings, whose face was unclear, appeared behind her. As soon as it appeared, it brought forth a wave of brilliant golden shockwaves, directly purifying Ning Chuan's 3 clones into nothingness. The azure bamboo bee cloud swords in the clone's hands fell to the ground, and his main body also returned to its original appearance. After a backflip, Ning Chuan distanced himself from Kayan Renksu. He looked at Kayan Renksu, his eyes slightly narrowed, and thought to himself, to have so easily forced out the opponent's angel spirit, I really overdid it a bit. Kayan Renksu's wings spread out behind her, her body hovering in midair. Her golden eyes, like autumn water, stared intently at Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan, I have to say, you are indeed very strong. In terms of swordsmanship alone, I am not your opponent, but true strength is not solely determined by swordsmanship. Your mistake was forcing out my full power. Now, there are only 2 paths before you: submit to me or be destroyed. Ning Chuan acted as if he hadn't seen the seraphim phantom behind Kayan Renksu. Kai Zhu, did I hear wrong? We are both distinguished guests invited by the Crown Prince, yet you want me to submit to you, Kayan Renksu sneered. At this point, do you still want to play dumb? Indeed, according to the original script, we were both distinguished guests invited by Zhu King. But your combined attack just now directly forced me to display the original form of my spirit. What, could it be that the direct disciple of Grandmaster Louise, who is known as the #1 theorist in the Spirit Masters world, still doesn't recognize my spirit? Ning Chuan nodded slightly, as if he truly didn't recognize Kayan Renksu's spirit. Kayan Renksu was greatly annoyed. Was he treating her like a fool? Fine, it doesn't matter if you didn't recognize it. Anyway, you can still find out about my spirit by asking Grandmaster Louise or Ning Fengzhai once you leave, so I'm not afraid to tell you my spirit is. Ning Chuan interrupted her. Your spirit is the sacred sword of flame. As for anything else, I've never seen it, nor have I ever heard of it. You won this battle today. Goodbye. With that, Ning Chuan turned to leave, attempting to bluff his way through, but how could Kayan Renksu let him have his way? Uncle Shi, Uncle Sai Zhu. As her words fell, 2 figures, one sturdy and one thin, blocked Ning Chuan's path. They were wearing various golden armors. Who else could they be but Snake Lance and Sai Zhu, the 2 titled Douluo of Spirit Hall Chapter 176 become friends. Looking at the 2 titled Douluo who suddenly appeared, Ning Chuan felt a wave of speechlessness. They really aren't even pretending anymore, are they? He slowly turned around, just in time to see Kayan Renksu's beautiful face, beaming with a smile. My spirit is Seraphim. Do you know who I am now? Kayan Renksu watched Ning Chuan's reaction, secretly feeling pleased. Ning Chuan answered evasively. I only saw a pair of external spirit bones that look like wings. As for the rest, Kayan Renksu said coldly, all right, Ning Chuan, stop playing games. You should know that, from the moment you forced out my spirit, you were destined to have only 2 choices today. I didn't expect you to be so useless. Ning Chuan rolled his eyes. If he had known this, he wouldn't have put on that act. He imitated the 6 sword slaves from Qin's moon, using a combined attack. Even with his main body, that made only 4, 2 less than the 6 sword slaves, and it was enough to make Kayan Renksu unable to resist. Indeed, people in this world are still too reliant on spirit abilities. When they can't use spirit abilities, they are all incredibly weak, only capable of brute force. No wonder in the original work, Tang San, the 1,000 Hands, was able to defeat one opponent after another beyond his level with that piling tactic. Ning Chuan knew that he couldn't muddle through this today, so he stopped hiding. Indeed, Who would have thought that in this prince's residence, one could see the legendary spirit, Seraphim? Your identity as a hidden family must be fake, right? And that Zhu King, just now, from the moment he entered, I sensed something was off about him. Instead, from you, I saw the shadow of my former snow brother. So now, should I call you the young master of Spirit Hall or Crown Prince Zhu King, Ning Chuan, you are indeed very clever. Seeing her disguise exposed by Ning Chuan in just a few words, Kaiyan Rengsu couldn't help but be utterly shocked. She had thought her disguise was very good. My name is Kaiyan Rengsu. So what is your answer? Kaiyan Rengsu looked at Ning Chuan and asked. Ning Chuan shook his head and said, I don't have a habit of being someone's slave. I presume your so-called teacher, who claims to be able to see into people's hearts, must have already told you. Kaiyan Rengsu's delicate brows furrowed slightly. So, you're refusing. Snake Lance Douluo and Porcupinefish Douluo, standing behind Ning Chuan, were already prepared to act, looking at Ning Chuan with a playful expression, as if they would immediately kill him at Kaiyan Rengsu's command. Ning Chuan shook his head again. I wouldn't be so foolish as to seek death. After all, the two seniors behind me are unfathomably powerful, and they feel far stronger than the Education Committee of Heavendew Royal Academy. I don't believe I could leave this place safely after refusing. When Ning Chuan mentioned Snake Lance and Porcupinefish, a hint of pride appeared on their lips. How could those three old fellows, who were only Spirit Douluo, compare to them, two titled Douluo? Now you have no power to choose. Will you submit or be destroyed? Choose one. Kaiyan Rengsu raised her hand, pointing her sword at Ning Chuan. Can't there be a third option? For example, we could become friends. Ning Chuan asked. Friends? Kaiyan Rengsu was slightly startled, and painful childhood memories constantly surfaced in her mind. Friends, what a strange word. Before the age of 9, her grandfather had always been by her side. Her father didn't care for her, and her mother didn't love her. After her father died that year when she was 9, she infiltrated the Heavendew Empire. During these 15 years, she had always been cautious, afraid of exposing her identity. Even this time, it was only because of the emergence of Ning Chuan, a variable with half-level innate spirit power who defied expectations with a trash spirit, that she thought of taking advantage of the opportunity to retaliate against the mother who brought her pain, and thus sought to subdue him. As for friends, there wouldn't be any now, and there wouldn't be any in the future. Thinking of this, she seemed to be touched on a raw nerve, and her voice instantly turned cold. I don't need friends, and no one is worthy of being my friend. Is there no room for discussion at all? Ning Chuan deliberately drew out his words. No, Kaiyan Rengsu replied mercilessly. At least we used to be good brothers, shoulder to shoulder. Snow brother, oh no, Miss Zhu, how about we discuss it again? Ning Chuan looked at Kaiyan Rengsu's face, which had already put on a pained expression, trying to enlighten her with their past relationship. My patience is limited. You now have 10 breaths to consider. Will you submit or be destroyed? You choose. 10-9. As soon as Kaiyan Rengsu counted to 9, Ning Chuan interrupted her. Wait. Such a big matter, you have to give me time to consider, right? Kaiyan Rengsu ignored Ning Chuan and continued counting. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Seeing that playing dirty wouldn't work, Ning Chuan pulled out his trump card. Is it okay as long as I'm qualified to be your friend? Kaiyan Rengsu finally answered Ning Chuan. What, do you think you're qualified? In your opinion, what kind of person is qualified to be your friend? Ning Chuan retorted. Kaiyan Rengsu considered for a moment and said, Talent, strength, and wisdom are all indispensable. Your wisdom is undoubtedly sufficient, and your strength is barely qualified. At the same time, I also feel that under Louise's guidance, you already have the potential to advance to title Douluo, but do you think you have talent? At the titled Douluo stage, even the most miraculous theories cannot break through the shackles, because a person's upper limit is already determined from the very beginning of spirit awakening. There was one more thing Kaiyan Rengsu didn't mention, and that was appearance. If it were an ordinary-looking person, no matter how outstanding their talent or how powerful their strength, they would not be qualified to be her friend. In this regard, Ning Chuan was qualified. Otherwise, she wouldn't have wasted so much time talking to him. What if we add this? Ning Chuan put away his azure bamboo bee cloud sword spirit and slowly raised his left hand. A golden, silver, and gray three-colored honeycomb-shaped metal ball appeared in Ning Chuan's palm. Now, if he wanted to avoid becoming her slave, he had to reveal his second spirit. However, he had made a note of this. When he gained strength in the future, he would definitely strip this woman naked, hang her up, and beat her until she called him daddy. Cayenne Renksu didn't know what Ning Chuan was thinking. It was only when she saw the metal ball in Ning Chuan's left hand that her gaze instantly froze. Snake Lance Douluo and Porcupinefish Douluo's gazes also froze. What is this? What is this three-colored metal ball? They were all perfectly clear in their hearts. This was not a weapon, at least not a carried weapon, nor was it stored on the body using a storage spirit tool. It was a spirit, a true spirit, a spirit never seen before. And it was a second spirit without a spirit ring attached, adding Ning Chuan's previous azure bamboo bee cloud sword. Didn't this mean that in the current world, besides their spirit hall's supreme pontiff and Tang Hao's weak son, Tang San, there was a third person with twin spirits? Chapter 177 Gold Devouring Bug vs. Seraph Twin Spirits, is that it? After a brief shock, Cayenne Renksu had recovered. So what if it was twin spirits? In front of her seraphim, a god-bestowed spirit with 20 levels of innate spirit power, it was still not enough. She said in a deep voice, "I admit your talent has passed, but your strength is just barely qualified. You should know that swordsmanship doesn't represent everything. Duels between spirit masters are more about the competition of spirit power, spirit abilities, and domains. Just 4 spirit rings are far from meeting my conditions. Then, if I defeat you, will I be qualified?" 8 blood-red spider lances with white patterns extended from his back. Ning Chuan's body, supported by the 8 spider lances, rose to be level with Cayenne Renksu's gaze. External spirit bone. Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share infinite novel audio. Snake Lance and Sai Zhu exchanged a glance, their eyes once again showing shock. They hadn't expected that besides twin spirits, Ning Chuan also had the trump card of an external spirit bone. It was just a pity that, like Tang Hao's despicable son, the external spirit bone had completely integrated with his body and could not be stripped away. Cayenne Renksu glanced at the 8 spider lances on Ning Chuan's back, her slender eyebrows slightly furrowed. "You want to challenge me?" Ning Chuan knew Cayenne Renksu was an extremely proud person, so he used a provocation. "What? The dignified young master of Spirit Hall, the successor of the Angel clan, are you afraid?" Cayenne Renksu pondered for a moment, then sneered. "A clumsy provocation, but I accept. If you win, I will naturally acknowledge you as my friend, but if you lose, you must submit to me. Uncle Sai Zhu, please wait outside. Young master this." Sai Zhu was worried about Cayenne Renksu getting hurt and looked at Snake Lance with some hesitation. Snake Lance said, "Let's go out. This is the young master's own battle, and she doesn't want to be interfered with." Although he said so, Snake Lance still gave Ning Chuan a warning look. After Snake Lance and Porcupinefish exited the underground enclosed training ground, Cayenne Renksu said to Ning Chuan, "Ning Chuan, now let me experience what level your current strength can reach." As she spoke, Cayenne Renksu flapped her wings, leaving a trail of flame behind her, and her entire being shot towards Ning Chuan like a meteor chasing the moon. Although she was an attack system spirit emperor, with the blessing of her wings, her speed was not much inferior to Flender, an agility attack system spirit saint with the owl spirit. The most crucial thing was that as she flew forward, Ning Chuan clearly felt that Cayenne Renksu in front suddenly became unreal, and the entire underground training ground space seemed to be slightly distorted. As a result, Ning Chuan's mental force was unable to lock onto her exact location. Even the purple demon eye, elevated to the second layer, the microcosm realm, couldn't see through it. Is it the angelic domain? Since I can't lock on, then I won't. I'm playing with area coverage. Ning Chuan shook his left hand, holding his second spirit, and instantly poured all his spirit power into it. This metal ball with gold, silver, and gray colors rapidly expanded, its diameter instantly growing from about a foot to a meter. Immediately, dozens of metal balls separated, turning into dozens of rays of light, shooting towards the direction Kayan Renksu was charging from. At the same time, the sword domain was also released. The evil-warding divine lightning on an azure bamboo be-cloud sword transformed into electric arcs, surging into the 8 spider lances on his back. Seeing this, Kayan Renksu showed disdain. With a sneer, she didn't dodge or evade, and a golden light burst forth from her body. The dazzling golden light, and her magnificent seraphim behind her, simultaneously bloomed. A powerful and sacred oppressive force overwhelmed everything, arriving in the blink of an eye. Bang, bang, bang. Those spheres shattered into specks of gold, silver, and gray starlight as soon as they touched the golden light, seemingly pulverized. Ning Chuan, is this your second spirit? It doesn't look like much. Kayan Renksu sneered, holding the sacred sword, her speed increasing rather than decreasing, like a meteor falling towards Ning Chuan. Just as she was about to land, a golden electric flash suddenly appeared on Ning Chuan's 8 spider lances, and he vanished from his original spot as if teleportation. This caused Kayan Renksu to miss completely. What? Kayan Renksu was momentarily stunned. Under the suppression of the angelic domain, with that speed just now, let alone Ning Chuan, even an agility attack system spirit saint would have found it hard to escape. How did the other party manage to dodge? Did that external spirit bone come with a teleportation ability? Impossible. In the angelic domain, she had already fixed Ning Chuan at the center of the domain. Even if he used teleportation, he would only be treading water. The teleportation ability was ineffective, and just now it was only fast. It hadn't reached the effect of teleportation. Before Kayan Renksu could understand what was happening, a buzzing sound suddenly began, growing louder and louder, instantly becoming sharp and ear-piercing, causing Kayan Renksu to show a look of surprise. She saw that the shattered fragments of the spheres had come alive, transforming into tens of thousands of gold, silver, and gray armored insects, densely covering the area behind Kayan Renksu. The sharp, ear-piercing sound was the buzzing of these insects' wings. Kayan Renksu couldn't help but feel her heart pound when she heard it. Attaching the evil-warding divine lightning to the 8 spider lances indeed provides a speed boost. However, each use consumes the evil-warding divine lightning from one azure bamboo be-cloud sword. Plus the 2 consumed for creating the lightning chains to bind the sacred sword, I now have 5 left. It seems I can only save them for critical moments. Ning Chuan didn't give Kayan Renksu any time to recover. After stabilizing himself, he urged his mental force, and these devouring gold bugs rushed towards Kayan Renksu without hesitation. They instantly dyed Kayan Renksu's angelic domain in 3 colors: gold, silver, and gray. This made the original brilliant gold no longer sacred, seeking death. Kayan Renksu was startled, but then reacted. Her first spirit ring lit up, and the golden halo of the angelic domain instantly condensed into her right fist. She abruptly punched towards the swarm of bugs. The condensed golden light was like a giant round shield, charging towards the bug swarm and Ning Chuan behind it, seemingly intending to eliminate the bug swarm, and then defeat Ning Chuan as well. But to Kayan Renksu's astonishment, as soon as the golden light was released, it was completely devoured by the bug swarm, leaving not a single trace. As for the high-speed charging round shield, although it knocked away some devouring gold bugs, more devouring gold bugs immediately clung to it, and in an instant, they gnawed the round shield into 1,000 holes. Seeing this, Kayan Renksu's face showed horror, while Ning Chuan was secretly delighted. It seemed that the devouring gold bug's efficiency in devouring spirit power was always superior to the purification speed of the angelic spirit power. In the blink of an eye, the round shield visibly shrank from large to small, and then from small to nothing, completely devoured by the devouring gold bugs. Kayan Renksu's expression immediately became extremely ugly. Those special lightning bolts before were one thing, not fearing her angelic spirit power's purification effect, but how could these insects, transformed from Ning Chuan's second spirit, also be so powerful? they were actually capable of devouring her angelic spirit power in return. Chapter 178, Free as Ning Chuan waved his palms. The swarm of bugs immediately transformed into a brilliant golden, silver, and gray cloud of mist, swarming towards Kaiyan Renksu. After witnessing the power of these bug swarms, Kaiyan Renksu's face had lost its previous arrogance, and her second, third, and fourth spirit rings lit up one after another. Within the angelic domain, although it was impossible to clearly see Kaiyan Renksu's spirit abilities, through the feedback from the devouring gold bugs, it was clear that Kaiyan Renksu's spirit abilities, like her first spirit ability, Angelic Assault, which transformed into a round shield, were being devoured. Of course, as Kaiyan Renksu continuously unleashed her spirit abilities, many devouring gold bugs also died. After these devouring gold bugs died, like the evil-warding divine lightning, they would only recover after one day. However, compared to the vast swarm of tens of thousands of bugs, the number of dead devouring gold bugs was only 1 or 2/10, which was merely a drop in the ocean. Ning Chuan analyzed while controlling the swarm to attack Kaiyan Renksu. As Kaiyan Renksu unleashes her spirit abilities one after another, the purification effect of the angelic spirit power is gradually strengthening. It seems that the current devouring gold bugs are not enough to completely suppress Kaiyan Renksu, who possesses the seraphim spirit. Of course, it could also be due to my own low cultivation. Damn it, what in the world are these bug swarms? They can actually devour my angelic spirit power, and they are not afraid of the sacred flame. Kaiyan Renksu continuously wielded her sacred sword, and each time she swung it, 7 or 8 devouring gold bugs were killed. But facing such a massive swarm of bugs, it was merely a drop in the bucket. This was also because her angelic spirit power had a purification effect. Under the amplification of the sacred sword, the purification effect increased threefold. If it were any other spirit emperor, or even a spirit saint, they would have probably been gnawed to nothing but bone by these bug swarms. Am I really going to lose? A hint of unwillingness flashed in Kaiyan Renksu's eyes, and childhood memories kept surfacing. Her grandfather's doting, her father's coldness, her mother's estrangement, and even several times wanting to kill her. These images kept appearing in her mind. No, she absolutely could not fall here. Although Kaiyan Renksu knew that even if she lost, Ning Chuan would never dare to do anything to her. In fact, if she sent out a spirit power message, the two titled Douluo outside the training room would immediately kill Ning Chuan. But the so-called knightly spirit inherited from her grandfather, Kaiyan Dalu, made her dismiss this idea. She did not allow anyone to interfere with her battle. Strong conviction caused the angelic domain to once again radiate light. Kaiyan Renksu's 6th spirit ring lit up. 6th spirit ability, Angel's Roar. The seraphim phantom behind her, with its 6 golden wings, frantically absorbed the energy within the domain. Streaks of golden lightning, like small snakes, continuously flickered across her body. Taking a deep breath, an extremely sharp, clear, and long roar erupted from her mouth, and her eyes suddenly spewed forth intense flames. Under these flames, large numbers of devouring gold bugs fell to the ground, turning into specks of starlight and disappearing. And as Kaiyan Renksu consumed these devouring gold bugs, her angelic domain became unsustainable and was directly devoured by the remaining devouring gold bugs. However, a large portion of Ning Chuan's devouring gold bugs were also eliminated. Excluding pure power suppression, the only weakness of the devouring gold bugs at present is mental attacks. It seems she detected it. However, the angel's roar just now directly consumed a large portion of her mental force and spirit power. Now she can no longer release the angelic domain on a large scale. Thinking this, Ning Chuan deliberately pretended to be heavily depleted of spirit power and put away the remaining devouring gold bugs. To appear sufficiently weak, he even put away his external spirit bone. With Tang Rishan as a scapegoat, both the consumption of spirit power and mental force by the devouring gold bugs and the backlash caused by the elimination of the devouring gold bugs could be transferred. As for the partial mental damage caused by this angel's roar, it could be ignored. Not to mention that Ning Chuan's mental force was not inferior to Caiyan Rengsu's. It was far from being twice as different. Even if his mental force was slightly weaker than Caiyan Rengsu's, with the devouring gold bug swarm blocking most of the angel's roar's power, the mental impact of the angel's roar would not cause him much damage. However, Caiyan Rengsu was truly weakened. Although she wasn't seriously injured, her face had become pale, and she was drenched in sweat due to the excessive consumption of spirit power and mental force. Even the brilliant golden wings on her back had lost their luster. Taking a deep breath, Caiyan Rengsu gazed at the slowly descending Ning Chuan, her eyes revealing not resentment or malice, but a hint of admiration. To be able to control such a massive number of bug swarms not only required strong spirit power control, but also an immense amount of mental force to control. And Ning Chuan was able to control them so skillfully, something even she couldn't do. She knew that her situation was not optimistic, and similarly, Ning Chuan should be in a similar state. While rapidly adjusting her own aura, she gazed at Ning Chuan. Ning Chuan, you truly bring me one surprise after another. If my sixth spirit ability hadn't happened to be a mental attack, I'm afraid I would have lost to you by now. You are the only person, besides my sister, who is worthy of being my lifelong opponent. Caiyan Rengsu was such a person. Before you defeated her, she would be incredibly arrogant, even looking down on you in every way. But once you defeated her, she would value you immensely, acknowledge you, and even fall in love with you unknowingly. Of course, the prerequisite for all of this was that you were handsome enough and young enough. If you were younger than her and had a lower cultivation, it would be even more of a bonus. The feeling is mutual. Although my second spirit, devouring gold bugs, doesn't have attached spirit rings under my careful cultivation, it has evolved 3 times. I dare say that even a spirit Douluo would have a chance against it, but you were able to kill more than half of them in one go. Seraphim truly lives up to its reputation as a legendary spirit. Ning Chuan deliberately pretended to be out of breath. Under the effect of mysterious heaven skill, his face gradually became extremely pale, as if he were truly weak. A faint smile appeared on Caiyan Rengsu's face. Regardless of today's win or loss, you are a friend recognized by Caiyan Rengsu. Now, let us have a fair and square decisive battle. This is my last attack. As she spoke, Caiyan Rengsu once again unleashed her angelic domain, but this time the range of the angelic domain was much smaller, not even encompassing Ning Chuan, who was 100 meters away. This is also my last attack. A dense green light surged from his right palm, and Ning Chuan released his azure bamboo bee cloud sword. The two no longer wasted words. Caiyan Rengsu's sixth spirit ring lit up, while Ning Chuan released all his killing intent. The intense killing intent merged with the evil-warding divine lightning. Ning Chuan consecutively swung out 3 kill characters with faint golden electric arcs. Chinese letter a DDING, 3 kill characters, while fusing them with the evil-warding divine lightning. This was the limit of the 7-kill sword technique that Ning Chuan could currently master. Chapter 179, Caiyan Rengsu becomes honest. The angelic roar was met with the 7-kill sword technique, which had been augmented with evil-warding divine lightning. The weakened Caiyan Rengsu was utterly incapable of displaying her peak strength, and the outcome was predictable when facing Ning Chuan, who consistently remained in peak condition with his mysterious heaven skill at the 6th level. Boom! As the golden flames collided with the 3 kill characters, large sections of the golden light shattered like a mirror, each fragment breaking into countless golden specks of light. They vanished into thin air, causing the once vibrant underground training ground to revert to its original color. 2 figures simultaneously appeared in midair. Caiyan Rengsu stretched her already dim golden wings as much as possible, controlling her body. The moment she stopped, thick blood suddenly gushed from her mouth, and Caiyan Rengsu's originally vibrant red lips turned purplish-black at that instant. The sword Kai, overlaid with the 3 kill characters, didn't just assist the evil-warding divine lightning in breaking her angelic roar. It also shattered her angelic domain, causing her to suffer severe injuries. This forced her spirit to automatically retract back into her body. On the other side, Ning Chuan's face was ashen. He clutched the azure bamboo be-cloud sword in a reverse grip, propping himself up on the ground, his entire body trembling violently. Am I being a bit too much of a bully? Ning Chuan muttered to himself, looking at the heavily injured Kaiyan Renksu across from him. Excluding the devouring gold bugs, there was still a certain gap in strength between Ning Chuan and Kaiyan Renksu because her evil-warding divine lightning could not suppress him. At most, it could prevent her angelic domain from suppressing him. But the critical point was that Ning Chuan had Tang Rishan as a power bank. This allowed him to maintain his peak condition at all times. Conversely, Kaiyan Renksu was constantly being depleted. With this ebb and flow, it would be strange if she could win. To avoid winning too abruptly, Ning Chuan secretly circulated his spirit power, intentionally forcing out a mouthful of blood. Then, he difficult got up. When Kaiyan Renksu saw Ning Chuan spit blood, she didn't have any doubts. Because that angelic roar had almost poured out all her spirit power and all the energy of her angelic domain, it would be strange if she wasn't injured. However, upon seeing him stand up, she again showed an expression of disbelief. Her entire being fell into self-doubt. Ning Chuan actually stood up, and he seemed to still have the strength to fight. In contrast, she herself had only a pitiful amount of spirit power left in her body, unable to even maintain her spirit. Just then, the figures of Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish flew in from outside the training room. They had been using their mental force to observe the situation inside the training room. After all, Kaiyan Renksu was the granddaughter of the Spirit Hall's high priest. If anything truly happened to her, they couldn't bear the responsibility. Noticing that Kaiyan Renksu's aura was unprecedentedly weak, they immediately flew in. Seeing Kaiyan Renksu spitting blood and kneeling on one knee, with her angelic spirit unable to be maintained and retracted into her body, while Ning Chuan, apart from his pale face and bleeding mouth, stood perfectly unharmed with his sword across from her, they couldn't help but be greatly alarmed. The young master actually lost. How could this be? They were very clear about Kaiyan Renksu's strength. Although she was a spirit emperor with her angelic domain, almost no one below a spirit Douluo was her opponent. Yet she lost to Ning Chuan, a spirit ancestor whose spirit power was only level 48. This kid's potential was truly terrifying. If he couldn't be subdued, he would likely pose a huge threat to Spirit Hall. And now that the young master had lost, subduing him was almost impossible. Thinking of this, Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish exchanged glances, their eyes filled with killing intent, and they were about to make a move. But before they could act, Ning Chuan already spoke. Are the two seniors going to kill Ning Chuan? He had been guarding against these two old sixes for a long time, so the moment they entered, he directly called them out. Upon hearing this, Kaiyan Renksu also reacted. She glanced at Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish, and seeing that they truly intended to kill Ning Chuan, she angrily said, "What do you want to do?" Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish froze for a moment. Porcupine Fish spoke. "Young master, Kaiyan Renksu interrupted. Shilong Sai Zhu, listen. This is a battle between Ning Chuan and me. If you dare to interfere, don't blame me for being merciless." Shilong hesitated for a moment and said, "But young master, this person is unwilling to join Spirit Hall and is very likely to become a threat to our Spirit Hall in the future. Moreover, he already knows your identity. If this were to be exposed, all our efforts over these years would be in vain." "What, did you not hear what I just said?" Kaiyan Renksu's expression completely turned cold. Hearing this, Shilong dared not say anything more. Then he heard Kaiyan Renksu say, "All right, you two go out. You are not to come back in without my command." "Yes." The two respectfully responded and turned to leave. "You really are adorably naive." Listening to Kaiyan Renksu's words, Ning Chuan showed a faint smile on his face. The concern of that senior just now was not unfounded. "Aren't you afraid I'll reveal your identity?" Kaiyan Renksu wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. She looked at Ning Chuan's tall figure and handsome face before her, and the anger on her face transformed into a faint smile. "You won this battle." According to our previous bet, if you lost, you would submit to me. If you won, you would become my friend. Based on my investigation and understanding of you, you are not someone who would betray a friend, and you have no ties with the Heaven-Do royal family. You wouldn't turn against me, your friend, for the sake of those strangers. Ning Chuan couldn't help but say, you really are a big clever one. Kaian Rengsu didn't understand the true meaning of big clever one, only thinking that the other party was praising her. The corner of her mouth curved slightly, and she said with a smile, if I were truly useless, do you think I could have gotten to where I am today? If she wasn't so much of a love-struck fool, if she didn't adhere to that so-called chivalry. Ning Chuan muttered in his heart, put away the azure bamboo becloud sword, and walked up to Kaian Rengsu, saying, you're not lightly injured right now. If you don't mind, I'll help you regulate your breathing first. Okay. Kaian Rengsu felt that they had already become friends, so she didn't refuse. Ning Chuan sat cross-legged behind Kaian Rengsu and began to continuously transmit mysterious heaven skills spirit power to her. Feeling the gentle and harmonious spirit power from the mysterious heaven skill, Kaian Rengsu felt an unprecedented comfort. After a moment, she seemed to remember something and suddenly said, would you mind answering a question for me, MM? Ning Chuan nodded lightly, waiting for her to continue. Recalling the scene where Ning Chuan had taken liberties with her when she was disguised as Zhu King, Kaian Rengsu, with her back to Ning Chuan, her cheeks slightly flushed, said, did you know I was a woman a long time ago, PFFT? Ning Chuan almost stumbled, his head nearly hitting Kaian Rengsu's back. He shook his head like a rattle drum. No, you hit it so well, how could I have known? If you hadn't appeared today, I probably would never have noticed, so you really shouldn't take such risks again in the future. Chapter 180. A different golden love triangle reunion. Kaian Rengsu let out an O and said nothing more, her face only growing redder. At this moment, in her heart, Ning Chuan had already become the embodiment of wisdom. Even Grandmaster Louise was far inferior. The fact that he saw through her identity with just one simple interaction was enough proof of this. Most importantly, Ning Chuan had cultivated to this point with only half a level of innate spirit power. Compared to Ning Chuan, the person that woman was so obsessed with was nothing but a good-for-nothing with a superficial appearance, just a pure swindler. However, at this moment, she also seemed to somewhat understand why that woman was so infatuated with Yu Xiaogang. Although Yu Xiaogang's wisdom was fake in that woman's eyes, Yu Xiaogang was undoubtedly real, and a wise man was indeed very attractive. The most crucial point was that this man, while possessing wisdom, also had the strength to defeat her and sufficiently handsome looks. This instantly gave Kaian Rengsu a feeling of having completely won when facing that woman. Both starting with half a level of innate spirit power, Ning Chuan not only possessed outstanding wisdom, but also achieved a comeback. In contrast, the man that woman fancied had become a decadent middle-aged uncle, and the theories he researched were either plagiarized or misled others. There was simply no wisdom to speak of. She just couldn't understand how that woman had ever fallen for a good-for-nothing like Yu Xiaogang. On another note, Yu Xiaogang was in a miserable state. During the time Ning Chuan and Kaian Rengsu were fighting, Flender and the others had already sent Yu Xiaogang to Blue Tyrant Academy. Upon learning that Flender had brought Yu Xiaogang, Liu Erlong immediately ran out of her cabin in the forest. Seeing Yu Xiaogang in such a wretched state, she, in the late stages of being blinded by love, not only didn't show disgust, but immediately checked Yu Xiaogang's physical condition. The result was that Yu Xiaogang's spirit power had not only been crippled, but he was also extremely weak. Furthermore, his body was covered in whip marks and scorch marks, with some areas already starting to rot, appearing as if he had been whipped with a leather whip. As for how the scorch marks came about, that was unknown. Who hurt Xiaogang like this? Liu Erlong roared angrily, her eyes red. The Shrek group exchanged glances, saying nothing. In reality, including Tang San himself, they all believed it was Tang Rishan who did it. Finally, Flender persuaded, Erlong, now is not the time to investigate. The urgent priority is to quickly treat Xiaogang's wounds and find a healing-type spirit master to save him. Yes, you're right. Liu Erlong wiped away her tears and quickly had the teachers of Blue Tyrant Academy summon the physician and Jiang Zhu, who was a healing-type spirit master. A moment later, the physician arrived first and began bandaging Yu Xiaogang. Because the whip marks on Yu Xiaogang's body extended to private areas, everyone was asked to step out and wait outside. Xiao Wu, being a girl, was naturally the first to leave. Immediately after, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar also had no interest in seeing Yu Xiaogang's privates. Only Yu Tianheng, as Yu Xiaogang's nephew, Flender, as Yu Xiaogang's old friend, and Tang San, as Yu Xiaogang's disciple, remained. Originally, Tang San didn't want to stay, but he was Yu Xiaogang's disciple, and to clear his father of suspicion, as well as to demonstrate the affection between a kind teacher and a filial student, he stayed. As for Liu Erlong, she wanted to stay, but she was a woman, and Flender, out of consideration for her image in the students' minds, persuaded her to leave. The result was that the moment Yu Xiaogang's pants were taken off. Whether it was the physician, Flender, Yu Tianheng, or Tang San, they were all utterly stunned. Yu Xiaogang had actually become a eunuch. Especially Flender and Tang San, who had personally witnessed and presided over Dai Mubai's castration surgery, their eyes widened even further. What did they see? They saw that Yu Xiaogang's privates had become like Dai Mubai's, completely bare. If there had to be a difference, it was that Dai Mubai's was flat, with only an inconspicuous opening for urination. However, Yu Xiaogang's opening was tens of times larger than Dai Mubai's, even larger than that of ordinary females. In Flender's impression, only the old phoenixes in the red light district could compare. P.S. In the original work, when Ma Hongjun first said he was going to the red light district, Flender called him to the store, so Flender must have been to that place. Not only that, Yu Xiaogang's back opening was also quite large, truly an eye-opener. And this appearance undoubtedly highly matched the punishment Xiao Wu mentioned for Yu Xiaogang. Even the method of castration was exactly the same as when Tang San performed the surgery on Dai Mubai. This made Flender unable to continue denying and deceiving himself that this wasn't done by Tang San. Seeing this scene, Flender could no longer accept the fact that his brother had been harmed like this, and he cried out, "How could it turn out like this? How could it turn out like this?" After speaking, Flender's eyes were already bloodshot, and he was panting like an ox. He looked at Tang San, and his entire being instantly fell into madness, crying and laughing. "Ha ha! Ha ha, Tang San, young sect master Tang, what exactly did Xiao Gang do to you? He harmed you like this, he brought it upon himself, he deserved it. But he has been scorned by thousands, he has already received his deserved punishment. It's one thing to cripple his spirit power, but why humiliate and torment him like this?" Equally enraged was Yu Tianheng, his face as dark as water. "Tang San, was it really you who did it?" Facing the two angry men, Yu Tianheng was somewhat better, but Flender was a true spirit saint, which gave Tang San a huge fright. He vehemently denied. "I've said it, this wasn't done by me or my father. Someone is trying to frame us." At this moment, Tang San had already confirmed that his father hadn't done it. Firstly, his father still needed Yu Xiaogang to go to Spirit City to seek the cultivation method for twin spirits. Before Yu Xiaogang obtained it, he wouldn't make a move against him. Even if he did make a move against Yu Xiaogang, the dignified Clear Sky Douluo wouldn't be bored enough to perform surgery on Yu Xiaogang. Someone must be framing their father and son. Who could it be? Ning Chuan's figure instantly flashed through Tang San's mind. Was it him? No, that's unlikely. Although that fellow was despicable, he wouldn't be so bored as to cripple Yu Xiaogang. Could it be Spirit Hall? That's it must be Spirit Hall. His mother was harmed by Spirit Hall. They must be doing this because they don't want Yu Xiaogang to find the Supreme Pontiff, and they don't want him to cultivate twin spirits. Damned Spirit Hall, you framed me and my father. You have already chosen your path to death. Just as Tang San concluded that Spirit Hall had secretly harmed Yu Xiaogang, Liu Erlong, thinking something had happened to Yu Xiaogang, burst through the door outside. "Flander, what happened? Is Xiaogang?" The next moment, she witnessed an explosive scene and was instantly dumbfounded. Chapter 181, Yu Zaya An collapses again, it's gone. Zio Gang's that is gone, completely gone, and her dream was shattered. She and Zio Gang could never be together again, because Zio Gang had become a eunuch. No, to be precise, he couldn't even be considered a eunuch. If a blue star transmigrator were to see him, they would think he had undergone sex reassignment surgery and become a woman. After Liu Erlong burst through the door, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar also followed her in. As for Zio Wu, she wasn't interested in what happened to Yu Xiaogang. She sat cross-legged outside, meditating to improve her spirit power. She knew she was in extreme danger at this moment, and only by improving her strength as quickly as possible could she be with Ning Chuan. This made Tang San breathe a sigh of relief. He was truly afraid Zio Wu would see something she shouldn't have, though there was really nothing to see anyway. And if you were to ask who was the happiest, it would have to be Dai Mubai. At this moment, he couldn't even suppress his smile. Because finally, someone had become like him. However, Zhang Zhu, who arrived late, saw this extremely eye-searing scene and screamed, then ran away. It was good that Zhang Zhu didn't scream. Her scream immediately brought Liu Erlong back to her senses. She roared, Who did this? Flander, quickly tell me who exactly did this. I'm going to kill him. As she spoke, Liu Erlong excitedly stepped forward and grabbed Flender's lapel. Flender didn't speak, only stared intently at Tang San. Liu Erlong followed Flender's gaze, landing on Tang San. She released Flender, then angrily said to Tang San, It's you, isn't it? You said you wanted to kill Zio Gang back then. You did it, didn't you? At this moment, Tang San couldn't be more wronged. I said it, I didn't do it. All of this is very likely done by Spirit Hall, and their purpose is to frame me and my father. You're spouting nonsense. If it were someone else who harmed Yu Xiaogang, Liu Erlong might have suspected it, but if it was Spirit Hall, impossible. Although she hated that woman from Spirit Hall, she knew that the other party would never harm Zio Gang. It was this Tang San, who always wanted to kill Zio Gang because of his diarrhea, who was the most suspicious. In her anger, Liu Erlong was about to make a move. Just then, Yu Xiaogang's weak voice reached everyone's ears. Stop, little San is right, he didn't harm me. Everyone looked at him simultaneously. Unbeknownst to them, Yu Xiaogang had already put on his dirty, hawthorn-scented pants. And this was not the first time he had fainted like this. Every time he woke up, he would put on his pants himself. Only this time, he never expected that the thing he least wanted to see would still happen. The Shrek people were one thing, but even Liu Erlong had seen it. In an instant, he put on a mask of pain. At this moment, if he didn't want to fall out with Tang San, he would truly want to pretend to be unconscious forever. Zio Gang. Liu Erlong rushed over immediately, but Yu Xiaogang ignored her and instead looked angrily at Flender. Flender, who told you to bring her here? Flender was momentarily speechless. Liu Erlong said with tear-stained cheeks, Zio Gang, do you still not want to see me? Yu Xiaogang put on his mask of pain again. After a long silence, he finally uttered, Erlong, you should know, we are impossible. It was impossible before, and it's even more impossible now. I don't care, Liu Erlong said stubbornly, but I care. The words were on his lips, but Yu Xiaogang swallowed them back. He turned his gaze to Tang San, skipping over the previous topic. Little San is right. I was indeed harmed by someone from Spirit Hall. At this point, Yu Xiaogang no longer cared who harmed him. Whether it was Spirit Hall or Tang San, he couldn't take revenge. Instead of that, it was better to maintain his relationship with Tang San. After all, this was his last hope for fame. Anyway, he didn't like Spirit Hall either. Zio Gang, were you really harmed by Spirit Hall? Flender cast a suspicious look. Like Liu Erlong, he also didn't believe it was Spirit Hall who harmed him, because that woman simply couldn't harm Zio Gang. It was more likely that Yu Xiaogang was covering for Tang San. He was more inclined to believe that. Yu Xiaogang nodded heavily, then asked the question he cared about most. Flender, you said earlier that Emperor Zhu Yi expelled me from Heaven Du Royal Academy and would never allow me to lead a team in the Soul Master competition again. Is that true? Flender sighed without answering, implicitly confirming it. Liu Erlong comforted him. Zio Gang, if Heaven Du Royal Academy doesn't want you, they're blind. From now on, you can come to our Blue Tyrant Academy. I'll hand over the academy to you and Flander. Yu Xiaogang shook his head. Did he care about the identity of a Heaven-Du Royal Academy teacher? What he truly cared about was the Soul Master competition. If he couldn't lead Shrek as a team leader in the Soul Master competition, even if Shrek won the championship, he wouldn't be able to prove himself. He didn't want any academy. He wanted the 4 words become famous, to make a name for oneself and establish a reputation. After a long time, Yu Xiaogang suddenly exhaled and looked at Flender, saying, "Flender, tell me what happened." "I want you to start from the Soul Master competition, word for word." "This." Flender hesitated. "Hurry up if you still consider me a friend." Yu Xiaogang said seriously. Upon hearing this, Flender no longer concealed anything and recounted the events in detail. From the opening ceremony of the Soul Master competition, Ning Chuan was revealed to be a 14-year-old spirit ancestor with 48 levels of spirit power, having obtained a 10,000-year 4th spirit ring under the guidance of Louise, the chief instructor of the Heaven-Du Empire Soul Master Legion. He dominated the Soul Arena, and Louise was hailed as the foremost theorist in the Spirit Master's world, respectfully called Grandmaster Louise, and sought after by various forces. Then, after Tang San defeated Blue Tyrant Academy, he suddenly had diarrhea and so on. In front of Liu Erlong, Flender didn't hide anything, not even the words Tang San and others said when Shrek faced Kanghui Academy. Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Yu Tianheng all turned pale upon hearing this. They wished they could find a hole to crawl into. And after Yu Xiaogang finished listening to Flender, he felt as if the sky was about to collapse. However, his anger was not about what the Shrek people said, but about Ning Chuan and Louise. Both had half a level of innate spirit power, yet he was reduced to a waste, and now he couldn't even be considered a waste. In contrast, Ning Chuan had become the most dazzling genius in the current Spirit Master's world, with a 1,000-year 2nd spirit ring, a 10,000-year 4th spirit ring, 48 levels of spirit power at 14 years old. And he overwhelmingly defeated all academies in the Heaven-Du Empire competition zone. Both were Spirit Master theory researchers. Louise taught Ning Chuan, who had a half-level innate spirit power and a waste spirit, to become a peerless genius. She also became the chief instructor of the Heaven-Du Empire Soul Master Legion, while he, on the other hand, taught Tang San, a twin spirits genius with full innate spirit power, to develop spirit side effects. The strong contrast caused Yu Xiaogang's inner world to collapse once again. Chapter 182, Dung Man Tang San. Beggar Tang Hao Yu Xiaogang let out a pained cry, spewed a large mouthful of fresh blood skyward, and unwillingly shouted, "If there is Xiaogang, why is there Ning Chuan? Why is there Silk?" As he spoke, Yu Xiaogang was about to hit the wall and commit suicide. Now he had no motivation to live. "Xiaogang, what are you doing? Don't do anything foolish." "That's right. Xiaogang, even if the world misunderstands you, in our eyes you will always be the Grandmaster with unrivaled theories." Flender and Liu Erlong hurriedly pulled him back. "But how could you, Xiaogang, listen? Let go of me, let me die. Now I've become a complete useless person, and my reputation is in tatters. What's the point of me living? Let me die, let me die." Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar secretly disdained him when they saw this scene. They all said it's better to live a bad life than to die well, yet he wanted to commit suicide over such a small setback. He really was, as he said, a complete useless person. Finally, Flender had no choice but to knock Yu Xiaogang unconscious, and only then did the useless person quiet down. Liu Erlong cried, "Now that Xiaogang has become like this, what should we do?" Flender also had a massive headache. He looked at Tang San and sincerely apologized. "Little San, I was impulsive before, but look at Xiaogang now. Do you have any way to help him recover?" Hearing this, Liu Erlong also cast a hopeful gaze at him. Tang San thought that he still needed this useless person to go to Spirit Hall to ask for the cultivation method of twin spirits. After some thought, he said, "The reason teacher has become like this is nothing more than 2 points. First, he was permanently banned from leading teams in the Soul Master competition. And second, the side effects of my spirit became known to the world, damaging his reputation. As long as these 2 points are resolved, I believe teacher will be able to recover. Liu Erlong's eyes lit up, and she suddenly realized, that's right, why didn't I think of that? I really can't tell, you little brat, your mind is quite clever. You're indeed Xiao Gang's disciple. When Liu Erlong called Tang San a little brat, Tang San's brows visibly furrowed. Flender shook his head and smiled bitterly. It's not that simple. The ban on leading teams in the Soul Master competition was ordered by Emperor Zhu Yi. As for the second point, whether we admit it or not, the side effects of Little San's spirit are a fact. Even if Little San himself comes forward to clarify, no one will believe him. Liu Erlong said disapprovingly. Didn't that Ning Chuan guy shout about the side effects of this little brat's spirit? I'll just find him to clarify. As for Emperor Zhu Yi banning Xiao Gang from participating, it's even simpler. Even if that old man Zhu Yi has great power, he can only control the Heaven Dew Empire. He can't control Spirit City. When the time comes, we'll take Xiao Gang to Spirit City, and I don't believe that woman will refuse Xiao Gang entry. Flender nodded in deep agreement. That's a good idea, it's just that I don't know if Ning Chuan will be willing. Liu Erlong snorted. HMPH, he bears some responsibility for Xiao Gang becoming like this. If he dares not clarify for Xiao Gang, I'll beat him until he clarifies. All right. Little San, for the next period, you will stay at Blue Tyrant Academy to cultivate and also look after Xiao Gang. After Xiao Gang wakes up, let him guide you. Tomorrow morning, I'll take Erlong to find Ning Chuan. Flender sighed and looked at Tang San. Liu Erlong said from the side, Little brat, Xiao Gang is entrusted to you. If you dare let even a single hair on his body be harmed, I'll hold you accountable. Who are you calling a little brat? Hearing this, Tang San could no longer hold back. His eyes were bloodshot, and he roared with a gasping breath like an ox. He was not a person with a good temper to begin with, or rather, his temper was more volatile than anyone else's. This woman repeatedly called him a little brat. If he couldn't beat her, he probably would have already found a way to die. Liu Erlong said disapprovingly, I just called you a little brat. Is there a need to get so angry? Last time Ning Chuan called you auntie, and you flew into a rage. If I were to call you Shedevil or call teacher eunuch or useless, would you get angry? Tang San asked furiously. You dare. Liu Erlong instantly clenched her fists and glared at Tang San. Cough. Flender coughed lightly and began to mediate. Erlong, Tang San has a name. Don't give him nicknames casually anymore. And Tang San, you also need to respect your elders. HMPH. Both of them simultaneously turned their heads away in anger, refusing to look at each other. Flender said, All right, Liu Erlong, you're not a child anymore. Don't keep sulking like one. It's getting late. You should quickly arrange a place for us to stay. Tomorrow morning, we'll go find Ning Chuan. Hearing this, Liu Erlong's expression finally softened, but she still glared fiercely at Tang San before leaving. On the other side, in a corner not far from the Shrek group at Blue Tyrant Academy, the area was already surrounded by Blue Tyrant Academy members. In the center of the crowd, a raggedly dressed, emaciated, hunched old man lay there, unconscious. If Tang San were here, he would surely recognize him as his father, Tang Hao. During the fight between Ning Chuan and Qian Rengsu, the backlash from Ning Chuan's devouring gold bugs being mostly destroyed by Qian Rengsu, along with the consumption of his spirit power and mental force, were all transferred to Tang Hao. Tang Hao was already injured, and his body had been hollowed out by Ning Chuan over the years, so how could he withstand such torment? After Ning Chuan and Qian Rengsu determined a victor, he could no longer hold on and fainted. A moment later, a teacher from Blue Tyrant Academy arrived. He asked, What exactly is going on? Why is there a beggar here? One of the students said. Teacher Sanchui, we don't know either. This beggar fell from the sky by himself. Fell from the sky. Sanchui looked at the nearby building, then at the surrounding wall and pondered. Could it be that he was so hungry he ran in from outside to steal food and then fell down? It must be. Just then, Liu Erlong, who was about to arrange accommodation for the Shrek group, also noticed this scene. Liu Erlong asked, What happened? Sanchui replied, Dean, an old beggar climbed over the wall. He probably wanted to steal food, but he fell and passed out. Although Liu Erlong was a love-struck fool, she wasn't so idle as to make things difficult for a beggar. Since he's a beggar, don't make things difficult for him. After he wakes up, give him some food and send him away. Also, arrange accommodation for today's guests and don't let them be inconvenienced. After saying this, Liu Erlong returned to the room where Yu Xiaogang was unconscious. She intended to guard him all night, but while Liu Erlong was kind-hearted, it didn't mean others were too. In the eyes of most spirit masters, they were always superior, looking down on ordinary people, let alone beggars. They directly instructed a student to get 2 baked buns from the cafeteria, and then told him and another student to move Tang Hao to an uninhabited corner outside the academy and throw him out. Chapter 183 Friends or free beggars hiding nearby saw the pancakes on Tang Rishan and swarmed him, not only snatching his pancakes but also his clothes and spirit tool. He was not even left with his underwear. By the time Tang Rishan woke up, he was completely naked. Of course, these are all later stories. Night gradually deepened. The sky had completely darkened, and on a high ground outside Heaven-Dew City, 2 figures, one black and one gold, appeared standing there. They were none other than Gui Mei and Yu Guan, whom Bibai Dong had arranged to kill Tang San. They had been lurking outside Heaven-Dew City for some time. Originally, when they saw Tang San come out, they planned to make their move after he had moved further away from Heaven-Dew City. Who knew that an old beggar would suddenly appear, and they both recognized this old beggar. It was actually the already infamous Yu Xiaogang. Immediately after, Tang San followed the Shrek group back to Heaven-Dew City, causing them to miss their chance to strike. Old Gui Mei, it looks like that scumbag son of Tang Hao won't be coming out of Heaven-Dew City. How unlucky, he was almost out, and then an old beggar suddenly appeared. Why don't we just go into Heaven-Dew City and directly kill him to get it over with? With our cultivation, no one would be able to detect us, Chrysanthemum Pass suggested. Gui Mei shook his head. Your Majesty, the Pope's order is to kill Tang San outside Heaven-Dew City. Moreover, if word somehow got out that we killed a participating student in Heaven-Dew City, it would be disadvantageous to our spirit hall. As for Yu Xiaogang, he surprises me a bit. From what he said, it sounds like Tang San or Tang Hao crippled him, Chrysanthemum Pass said. What's so strange about that? Yu Xiaogang is just a fraud and a good-for-nothing. He trained a perfectly good twin spirits genius like that. With Tang Hao's temper, if he didn't cripple him, who would he cripple? Gui Mei nodded in deep agreement. Just then, the two suddenly sensed someone approaching and sharply said in the same direction, "Who's there?" As the words fell, a figure slowly walked out of the darkness, and upon seeing the person, Chrysanthemum Pass and Gui Mei also assumed a condescending expression. The newcomer respectfully said, "Elder Yu Guan, Elder Gui Mei. The young master sent us 2 subordinates to deliver a message. Tang Hao is hiding in the dark, protecting Tang San. Please, elders, do not be careless." Also, this is a letter the young master asked the 2 elders to help hand over to Your Majesty the Pope. Please keep it safe. As he spoke, he took out a letter and handed it to Gui Mei, who was closest to him, Tang Hao. Hearing these 2 words, Chrysanthemum Pass and Gui Mei's expressions instantly became serious. After the person left, Chrysanthemum Pass frowned and said, "Old Gui Mei, Tang Hao is actually hiding nearby. It seems we won't succeed so easily." Gui Mei glanced at the letter Qian Rengsu had sent someone to deliver, thinking it was something important to report, and dared not delay. The situation has gone beyond our control. Now we should quickly go report to Your Majesty the Pope and let her decide. Clearly, both Chrysanthemum Pass and Gui Mei were still shaken by Tang Hao's past achievement of fighting the previous Your Majesty, the Pope, and 2 former Your Majesty, the Pope's personal duo, resulting in 1 dead, 1 crippled, and 1 severely wounded beyond recovery. And so the 2 left Heaven-Dew City. Invisibly, because of Yu Xiaogang's appearance, Tang San escaped a calamity. As for Bibai Dong sending Chrysanthemum Pass and Gui Mei to intercept Tang San outside Heaven-Dew City, Ning Chuan was unaware of it, and even if he knew, he wouldn't care. Time rewound to an hour ago. After healing Qian Rengsu's injuries, the 2, as if they were old friends who had known each other for years, sat directly on the roof of the highest building in the prince's residence and chatted under the moonlight. After becoming friends with Ning Chuan, Kaian Rengsu seemed to open up, recounting various aspects of her childhood to him. Finally, with a tearful voice, she asked Ning Chuan a question that had been buried in her heart for a long time. "Do you think there really is such a cruel mother in this world? I don't know." Ning Chuan crossed his arms, propped them behind his neck, and lay directly on the roof. "Is there something you don't know?" Kaian Rengsu looked at Ning Chuan with some surprise. In her opinion, there was almost nothing Ning Chuan didn't know. "I don't have parents, how would I know?" Ning Chuan rolled his eyes. Neither in his previous life nor in this one had he ever experienced maternal love, which was why he had unknowingly fallen in love with Louise, a teacher who was also like a mother and a lover to him. Hearing this, Kaian Rengsu's face immediately showed an expression of guilt, but Ning Chuan's next sentence made her eyes light up. "But I'm sure your mother loves you." Putting everything else aside, the fact that Bibai Dong shielded Kaian Rengsu from a fatal blow at the end of the original story was enough to prove this point. "Why do you say that?" Kaian Rengsu asked with some trepidation and expectation. Ning Chuan said, "You said before that your mother, the Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall, is very good to her disciple Huliena, almost raising her like her own daughter. From this, you can see that her personality might be a bit eccentric, but she is not a heartless person. The reason she is distant from you, or even disowns you, I think there must be some hidden reason that led to your relationship becoming like this." "Then what should I do?" Kaian Rengsu's face showed a bewildered expression. "Before I answer that question, I want to ask you something. Do you hate her?" Ning Chuan asked. "Hate," Kaian Rengsu answered without hesitation. After so many years of neglect, it would certainly be false to say there wasn't a trace of resentment. "Then do you love her?" "Don't rush to a conclusion, ask your own heart first." Ning Chuan asked again. Hearing this, Kaian Rengsu fell into deep thought. Finally, she confirmed that she indeed loved her mother. She replied, "Love. Then do you long for her love? Do you long to reconcile with her?" Ning Chuan sat up, looking at Kaian Rengsu's peerless and captivating face, and asked, "I long for it." Meeting Ning Chuan's gaze, Kaian Rengsu answered almost without thinking. Ning Chuan lay back down, looking up at the starry sky, and said, "Since you still love your mother, long for her love, and long to reconcile with her, then don't dig for roots and don't pursue any truth. You only need to understand one thing. She is always your mother, you are always her daughter, and there is always a blood relationship between you that cannot be erased no matter what. And my advice to you is, as long as you still love your mother in your heart, then let go of your prejudices against her, openly call her mom, and act like a daughter from an ordinary family, spoiling her, seeking her care and love." Hearing this, Kaian Rengsu's mind conjured an image of herself acting spoiled towards Bibai Dong, and the more she thought about it, the more awkward it felt. She shook her head frantically and said, "No, that's too embarrassing, I can't do it." "Then write letters. Just keep spoiling her, pouring out your love for her. Write a few more letters whenever you have time. Even an ice mountain will eventually be moved by you." Ning Chuan said. Kaian Rengsu's cheeks flushed, and she said somewhat awkwardly, "I don't know how to write." Chapter 184. Old Mouse takes the blame every day, then I'll speak, and you can write, he said. After all, he had grown up watching Qiang Yao's dramas. When it came to PUA, no one in this world was more skilled than him. Kaian Rengsu hummed softly, seemingly not wanting to delve deeper into the topic. She changed the subject and asked, "Don't talk about me. Let's talk about you instead." "What is there to say about me? Haven't you already investigated thoroughly?" Ning Chuan asked. "What?" "As a friend, I've told you everything about myself. Can't you tell me about yourself? Are we still friends? Besides, what's investigated isn't necessarily accurate. With your intelligence, you don't seem like the type to reveal everything about yourself." In Kaian Rengsu's view, friends should be open and honest with each other, sharing their joys and sorrows. This girl is a bit too naive. Ning Chuan glanced at her, then sighed. "All right, this matter has to start from when I first awakened my spirit." As he spoke, Ning Chuan recounted his experiences over the years. From Noting Academy, meeting Louise, meeting Yu Xiaogang, meeting Tang San, meeting Xiao Wu, then becoming a disciple, and then through Louise, accessing countless books, finding a way to evolve his spirit, and discovering Yu Xiaogang's deception. Then, he put in several times the effort of an ordinary person every day, diligently cultivating, growing step by step, from acquiring his first spirit ring to the second and third spirit rings. His spirit gradually began to transform, and finally, his fourth spirit ring completed a secondary awakening of his spirit, awakening a unique innate domain, the sword domain, belonging to the Azure Bamboo Bee Cloud Sword Spirit. Hearing this, Kyan Renksu couldn't help but exclaim, "No wonder you weren't afraid of my angelic domain." So you also awakened an innate domain. What happened after that? Later, at Xiao Wu's invitation, I joined Shrek Academy. Next, Ning Chuan roughly recounted his experiences at Shrek. Listening to Ning Chuan's bizarre experiences, Kyan Renksu felt envious but also amusingly said, "I didn't realize you were quite popular with girls. First, there was that girl named Xiao Wu, then Zhuking, who has already become your girlfriend, and then Ning Rongrong from the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Now, I'm afraid even Yi Lingling has become your preordained little wife, hasn't she?" "How do you know?" Ning Chuan asked. It was Kyan Renksu's turn to roll her eyes. "Please, if you're not lying, even a fool could tell that these girls either have feelings for you or have secretly fallen for you." "What about you?" Ning Chuan sat up again, staring intently at her. Kyan Renksu smiled slightly and said, "If you can draw a clear line with those girls, then I might just give you a chance. Then forget about it. Some people have already thought of using a honey trap on me, so they should also know that I can't abandon an entire forest for one tree." Ning Chuan lay back down. Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share Infinite Novel Audio. Kyan Renksu didn't show any disappointment. Although she admired Ning Chuan, it hadn't reached the level of love. She continued the previous topic. "Then why did you suddenly leave Shrek Academy? Was it merely because you rejected that girl named Xiao Wu?" "No matter what, that girl named Xiao Wu is a rare beauty, and her own talent is astonishing. That you would reject her doesn't sound like you. After 6 years together, even a block of wood would develop feelings, but do you think I wanted to? Someone forced me to leave. Especially since I am such a romantic person." Ning Chuan began his usual nonsense. "Was it those teachers from Shrek?" Kyan Renksu frowned. Ning Chuan bluffed. "If it were them, it would be great. After all, Shrek is just a wild academy, and they handed over all teaching responsibilities to that swindler, Yu Xiaogang. I didn't want to stay there for a long time. The real reason that prompted me to leave was Tang San's father." "Tang Hao." Kyan Renksu's brows furrowed even tighter. "Exactly, it was him. I'm sure you know the character of the Tang clan people. They are inherently domineering and unreasonable. This can be proven by their killing of Dugu Bo and his granddaughter. And because Tang San had a crush on Xiao Wu, Tang Hao didn't want to see me and his son's beloved get together, so he gave me 2 choices. Either refuse Xiao Wu and leave Shrek or die. I was completely bewildered at the time, and only after Xiao Wu confessed her feelings for me did I realize I had to leave." Ning Chuan's tone was filled with helplessness. Well, how to describe that expression? It was as if he had truly been coerced by Tang Hao. He deserves to die. Kyan Renksu gritted her silver teeth. This was not only because Tang Hao was her father's killer, but more so because Tang Hao bullied her friend. Who says he doesn't? But compared to others, I was lucky. You should know Tang San's teacher, Yu Xiaogang, right? He's even worse off. Ning Chuan continued to shift the blame onto Tang Hao. He wanted to see if Bibai Dong would still hold back in the Soul Master competition after learning that Tang Hao had crippled Yu Xiaogang. "What did he do?" Kyan Renksu asked, somewhat astonished. Ning Chuan said, "Didn't that Yu Xiaogang cause Tang San to have diarrhea every day? So Tang Hao crippled Yu Xiaogang, and very thoroughly too. Not only did he cripple his spirit power, but he also turned him into a eunuch, just like that Dai Mubai." PFFT, hearing this, Kyan Renksu couldn't help but burst out laughing. Is this real or fake? After all, he's the dignified clear sky Douluo. How could he do something so despicable? Ning Chuan said. The Tang clan people's despicable actions aren't a 1 or 2 day thing. If you don't believe me, just ask around and you'll know. Now Yu Xiaogang has been thrown outside Heaven Du City by Tang Hao, begging for a living every day. I don't know if he's still alive. If he's lucky, he might have a glimmer of hope if he runs into Flender. If he's unlucky, he'll probably just starve to death in a beggar's den. I only found out last time when Shinayan of Kanghui Academy used his spirit, remnant dream, to lure me outside Heaven Du City. On the way back, passing by a large willow tree, I discovered him. You have no idea how miserable he looked, being lined up by a group of beggars. It was simply unbearable to watch, Kayan Renksu gloated. So you were the one who took care of that Shinayan. But this Yu Xiaogang is indeed quite miserable. At this moment, her mind and body felt an unprecedented sense of joy. Although she had decided to reconcile with her mother, she was still very happy to see her suffer a setback. Every time she thought of the scene where Bibai Dong learned that Yu Xiaogang's spirit power had been crippled and he had become a eunuch, she couldn't stop smiling. And the matter of Yu Xiaogang's notorious reputation in Heaven Du City, teaching Tang San the side effects of his spirit, and the fact that his spirit theory was plagiarized, Kayan Renksu also felt it was very necessary to let Bibai Dong know. Otherwise, wouldn't she have suffered so much injustice for nothing all these years? Chapter 185 Furious Bibai Dong Ning Chuan said. As the saying goes, every pitiful person has something hateful about them. Based on my understanding of that guy, do you believe that Yu Xiaogang, even knowing he was crippled by the Tang clan father and son, would pretend not to know and continue to maintain his master-disciple relationship with Tang San? Is he really that despicable? Kayan Renksu asked, gloating. Ning Chuan said, You are a genius, so you don't understand the suffering of those without talent, especially a noble disciple like Yu Xiaogang, who was born into one of the upper 3 sects. His birth made him arrogant, but his talent gave him an inferiority complex. In his eyes, nothing is more important than reputation and life. For those 2 things, he can abandon everything. What are a mere 2 ounces of flesh worth? Listening to you, that does make sense, Kayan Renksu said non-committally. All right, let's stop here for today. We can talk about anything else tomorrow. I need to cultivate, Ning Chuan said, standing up. Don't be in a hurry. Let's write a letter together first. Kayan Renksu also stood up. It's a small matter, Ning Chuan smiled slightly. He was most skilled at PUA. A moment later, the letter was written. Kayan Renksu looked at the overly sweet words on it, her face feeling hot. She hesitated, saying, Can this really work? Of course, as long as the Supreme Pontiff isn't heartless, there's no problem. If 1 letter doesn't work, send 2. As long as she doesn't reply, you bombard her 1 letter every 3 days, then every 2 days, or even every day. Just follow this template and keep writing. Ning Chuan said. Kayan Renksu lightly assented. Immediately after, she directly put the letter away and wrote another one right in front of Ning Chuan. What are you doing? Ning Chuan asked. Somewhat surprised, Kayan Renksu smiled. Anyway, she and I have been at odds for so many years, so a day or 2 won't make a difference. Before we reconcile, I want to collect some interest first. Ning Chuan was stunned, then laughed. You're right. No matter what, she has indeed been very unreasonable to you all these years. It's time to collect some interest. Outside the room, Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish, the 2 titled Douluo, listened to their laughter and exchanged glances. This was the first time they had seen their young master so happy. The speed of a titled Douluo was extremely astonishing. The next morning, Chrysanthemum Ghost Douluo rushed back to the Supreme Pontiff Palace in Spirit City. Upon learning that the Chrysanthemum Ghost Douluo had returned empty-handed, Bibai Dong was furious. She held the angel scepter in her right hand, her back to them. Although there was no visible fluctuation on her surface, both Chrysanthemum Pass and Gui Mei knew that her heart was already seething with uncontrollable rage. Bibai Dong slowly began. Tell me, why did you fail? Chrysanthemum Pass explained. Your Holiness, according to your orders, we originally planned to ambush Tang San outside Heaven Du City after he left the city. But the appearance of one person midway caused Tang San to return to Heaven Du City. And you know this person. It's you, Xiaogang. A complex look flashed in Bibai Dong's eyes. She turned her head to glance at them. Continue. Gui Mei added, Yu Xiaogang seems to have had his spirit power crippled for some time now. He had been begging outside Heaven Dew City until he met Flender, another former member of the Golden Triangle, and was rescued. However, judging by his tone at the time, he seemed to believe he was harmed by Tang San and Tang Hao, the father and son. Also, the young master sent word that Tang Hao is now secretly protecting Tang San at all times. Yu Guan and I found it difficult to act, so we came to report to you. This is the young master's letter. As he spoke, Gui Mei respectfully offered the letter. Upon hearing that Yu Xiaogang's spirit power had been crippled and he had become a beggar, Bibai Dong could no longer remain calm. Her figure flickered, and she instantly appeared before Gui Mei. Opening the letter, she felt as if her entire world was collapsing. Not only had Yu Xiaogang's spirit power been crippled, but he had also been castrated by Tang Hao. The reason, surprisingly, was because Yu Xiaogang had messed up Tang San's cultivation. Damn it, they all deserve to die. Bibai Dong cursed in a low voice, her murderous intent towards Tang Hao and Tang San now impossible to conceal. She said coldly, Your mission is hereby cancelled. When the All-Continent Advanced Spirit Master Academy Grand Tournament concludes, I want Tang Hao and his son dead in Spirit City. 1 month was not a long time. During the following period, Ning Chuan did not leave the prince's residence. After sending a message to the members of the new Royal Fight Team, he settled down in the prince's residence. Utilizing the facilities of the prince's residence, he engaged in various forms of cultivation during the day, occasionally sparring with Cayenne Renksu. At night, he cultivated mysterious heaven skill through meditation to increase his spirit power, and sometimes he would also seek out snake lance and porcupine fish, the two titled Douluo, to train his combat abilities. And at this time, Cayenne Renksu finally realized how truly insane Ning Chuan was when it came to cultivation. Compared to him, she had indeed been very negligent, and because of this, she also became much more diligent than before. Thus, a month passed quietly, and today was the last day before the promotion rounds began. Inside the underground training ground, Ning Chuan and Cayenne Renksu stood with their swords. They did not use spirit power, nor did they use spirit or weapon-type spirit abilities. They only used ordinary weapons. Cayenne Renksu lunged forward, her entire body like a gust of wind, arriving before Ning Chuan. She thrust her sword, which Ning Chuan blocked by holding his sword vertically, causing sparks to fly. Then Ning Chuan executed a backhand parry, knocking Cayenne Renksu's longsword away. He leaped up, suddenly striking downwards. Clang. Cayenne Renksu blocked it with her horizontal sword, but Ning Chuan's force was too great, so Cayenne Renksu had to step back. Ning Chuan spun in midair, delivering 5 consecutive slashes. Clang. Amidst a series of metallic clashes, Cayenne Renksu only managed to block the first 4 slashes. The 5th one was directly parried away. Her longsword slipped from her hand and fell to the ground, making a metallic clang. Cayenne Renksu herself was then held at the throat by Ning Chuan's longsword. Very good. Compared to a month ago, you've made great progress, Ning Chuan said, retracting his sword. Cayenne Renksu let out a long sigh, but compared to you, I'm still far behind. Ning Chuan said, You don't even consider how long I've been training. Although you're 10 years older than me, you've been busy impersonating Zhu King day after day, delaying who knows how much cultivation time. Otherwise, with your talent, you would at least be a spirit saint by now. Sometimes, I really don't know which idiot came up with the idea of having you go undercover in the Heaven Dew Empire to complete that so-called nation-stealing plan. Cayenne Renksu knew Ning Chuan was speaking the truth, but she still rolled her eyes. That's my mother, Ning Chuan retorted. Then she's either stupid or evil. If she truly wanted to unify the continent with your talent, you could at least cultivate to Super Douluo or even become a god. Why bother with this so-called usurpation plan? Isn't this clearly trying to ruin you? I really don't know how much deep-seated hatred there is between you two. If that's the case, then why did you say she has feelings for me? Cayenne Renksu gave him a sidelong glance, Chapter 186, Correcting the Battle Mindset. Loving her daughter and being foolish and evil are not mutually exclusive, Ning Chuan said. All right, let's continue our previous topic. Besides delaying your cultivation, I also found that your combat thinking is particularly problematic. Thinking of Qian Rengsu's actions during the Heaven-Du Imperial Palace incident in the original novel, Ning Chuan's aversion to foolishness immediately flared up. Combat thinking, Qian Rengsu looked puzzled. I ask you, in a life-and-death battle, when you encounter an enemy whose strength is not much inferior to yours, do you choose to fight alone or swarm them? Ning Chuan asked. Of course, I'd fight alone. That's the least respect I can show my opponent, Qian Rengsu replied without hesitation. Ning Chuan, see, isn't that the problem? You are mortal enemies, yet you are still so naive talking about respect. Your respect for others doesn't mean others will respect you. Once the opponent escapes, they will definitely come back for revenge. By then, when the enemy becomes stronger than you and wants to kill your mother, kill your grandfather, and destroy Spirit Hall, and you are powerless to stop them, what will you do? I won't let such a thing happen. Qian Rengsu was silent for a moment, then added. Unless the person you're talking about is you. Of course, I wouldn't be so idle as to become an enemy of Spirit Hall, but your way of handling things is very dangerous. Ning Chuan turned his back to Qian Rengsu and said, Next, I'll give you one last lesson. Don't pursue aesthetics in battle. Don't pursue virtue in death. Don't just care about saving your own life. If you want to protect what's worth protecting, abandon that so-called chivalry and mercilessly slay the enemies you should defeat by any means necessary. So, have you always done that? Qian Rengsu looked bewildered. She suddenly realized she couldn't quite recognize the man in front of her. Ning Chuan said, Of course. Take the battle a month ago, for example. If it wasn't a sparring match but a life-and-death battle, I'm afraid you would have already become a corpse. Also, let me ask you another question. If a Clear Sky Hammer spirit master of similar cultivation to you uses the disorder-splitting wind hammer method, how would you fight? I will break through his chaotic cloak hammer technique and then defeat him. Qian Rengsu pursed her lips quite confidently. How to break it? Are you going to directly hack with your sacred sword from the front, and if the sacred sword can't cut through, then use spirit ability? Ning Chuan asked again. Shouldn't it be like that? Qian Rengsu retorted, Ning Chuan. Using a sword to hack a hammer, you really are something. Do you know how I defeated Tang Xin's chaotic cloak hammer technique in the last match of the preliminaries? By using sword Kai to break through. Qian Rengsu hadn't observed that battle, nor had anyone told her. So she thought of this possibility. Ning Chuan's sword Kai was already extremely powerful, so using sword Kai to break through Tang Xin's chaotic cloak hammer technique would naturally not be a problem. Ning Chuan said, What you said isn't wrong, but I wasn't attacking Tang Xin's clear sky hammer. I was attacking the ground beneath his feet. The disorder-splitting wind hammer method cannot be moved while being performed. You just need to break through the ground beneath his feet, and his lower body will become unstable, causing the chaotic cloak hammer technique to break on its own. Also, the chaotic cloak hammer technique has another weakness. That is, it only goes up to 81 hammers. If this person cultivates the chaotic cloak hammer technique to its highest realm and can adapt to various terrains and environments, then you can completely utilize your Seraphim's aerial advantage to engage in a war of attrition with the opponent. You only need to make his last hammer strike miss, and victory will definitely be yours. Similarly, this applies when facing other self-created spirit abilities and spirit ring skills of the Clear Sky Hammer. Instead of desperately ramming your head against someone's hammer or standing still and hacking at a hammer with a sword, letting yourself be pounded. If you fight in such a way, then your spirit shouldn't be called Seraphim. Those two words, Seraphim, can be completely removed. Because you simply don't know how to utilize your own spirit's aerial advantage. In one breath, Ning Chuan pointed out all the flaws in Qian Rengsu's battle with Tang San in the Heaven-Du Imperial Palace in the original novel. After listening, Qian Rengsu, like the members of the new royal fight team before, suddenly realized, instantly feeling as if some invisible shackles on her body had been broken. Two yellow, two purple, and 2 black spirit rings slowly rose from beneath her feet. Kaiyan Renksu looked at Ning Chuan with shining eyes and said, "Ning Chuan, let's have another decisive battle." For the next few hours, Snake Lance and Porcupinefish outside the training room could clearly hear the continuous sounds of fighting. It seemed that a very fierce contest was taking place inside. The final result was not much different from the last time. Kaiyan Renksu still lost. "I'm not convinced. If it weren't for the restrictions here, you, without flying ability, couldn't have defeated me so easily. Also, your bugs wouldn't have trapped me so easily," Kaiyan Renksu said, unconvinced. "Very good. As long as you have this mindset, you will be invincible against the Clear Sky Hammer in the future," Ning Chuan said. The All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament Promotion Rounds were divided into 2 competition zones, the Heaven Dew Empire and the Star Luo Empire. The 30 teams that passed the preliminary rounds competed in their respective empires. As for the 3 teams that had already advanced to the finals, besides the Heaven Dew Royal Academy main team represented by the new Royal Fight team, the other 2 academies did not participate in the promotion rounds. The venue for the Heaven Dew Empire promotion rounds was located in the Royal Hunting Ground, 50 kilometers southwest of Heaven Dew City. It was a vast area used by royal family members for hunting and training. Early the next morning, Ning Chuan, Louise, Mona, Zhuqing, Rongrong, Yilingaling, the Shi brothers, as well as Yu Feng and Huang Jie, gathered in Heaven Dew City. As for Oslo, he didn't come. He was breaking through the 40th level bottleneck. Yu Feng, on the other hand, had already broken through. With Mona's help, he obtained his 4th spirit ring and officially became a 41st level agility attack system spirit ancestor. When the new Royal Fight team arrived, many qualified teams had already arrived early. This included the Shrek team. Rongrong looked at Liu Erlong and Yu Xiaogang, who came with Shrek and others in the crowd, and said with some surprise, "Strange, wasn't Yu Xiaogang forbidden from leading a team by Emperor Zhu Yi? Why is he here? And the Dean of Blue Tyrant Academy is here too." Ning Chuan and Xiao Wu exchanged glances, nodded slightly to her, and then replied, "The promotion rounds can be entered with just a pass, and there's no rule against bringing extra people. Yu Xiaogang looks like a ghost now. Even people who know him might not recognize him. Who would care about such an ordinary person who doesn't even have spirit power?" At this time, Yu Xiaogang not only had long hair, but his clothes had also been changed to a different style, no longer his old-fashioned robe. If one didn't observe carefully, it would indeed be difficult to recognize him. Chapter 187 Eat Little Maumi. At the same time, the Shrek group also saw them, and seeing Ning Chuan there, Liu Erlong directly walked towards him aggressively. "What, still haven't given up?" Dean Liu Erlong. Ning Chuan's face showed a rather impatient expression. Louise and the others had already told him that Liu Erlong had looked for him during this period. "I won't give up until you agree to come forward and clear Xiao Gang's name." Liu Erlong looked at Ning Chuan with a determined expression, her eyes revealing firmness and clear foolishness. How should I describe this appearance? It was like a resentful woman from a deep boudoir begging Ning Chuan to spare her husband. "Don't you know that Yu Xiaogang's theory is wrong and plagiarized?" Ning Chuan asked back, feeling a headache. "I know." Liu Erlong lowered her head slightly, her eyes covered by shadow, her shoulders trembling slightly, and she gritted her teeth. "But even so, he is the person I love most. To be honest, it's not hard to understand someone like you, who is in the late stage of being a love-struck fool. But why should I vouch for a liar like Yu Xiaogang? Not to mention whether the world would believe me if I vouched for Yu Xiaogang. Even if they did, lies will eventually be exposed one day." Ning Chuan spread his hands. "Even so, I don't want to see Xiao Gang live in pain all day." Liu Erlong said hysterically, "What if I don't agree?" Ning Chuan said indifferently. While speaking, Mona had already stood beside Ning Chuan, looking at Liu Erlong warily. Liu Erlong naturally wasn't foolish enough to make a move in this royal hunting ground. She gritted her silver teeth and said, "Then I'll pester you until you agree." "Then you'd better work hard," Ning Chuan said, ignoring Liu Erlong, and directly led the new royal fight team away. After they had gone far, the Shrek group came over and Flender asked, "Erlong, how is the situation?" Liu Erlong gritted her teeth and said, "I won't give up." Yu Xiaogang, however, sighed. "Erlong, don't look for him anymore. He won't agree. I've known Ning Chuan for a long time. He is an arrogant person, selfish to the extreme. He will never clear my name." Tangson echoed, "Teacher is right. He is an inherently evil bad seed. The first time we met, he dared to touch Master Louise's butt and then framed teacher." While speaking, Tangson began to talk endlessly about Ning Chuan's bad deeds. After listening, the Shrek group was completely brainwashed. Only Xiao Wu gritted her teeth in hatred. This damned scumbag actually spoke ill of Little Six again. He was simply asking for death. On the other side, after Ning Chuan and the others crossed a small hill, they arrived at a vast grassland. Large military camps on the grassland were arranged in a circle. After showing their advancement qualification certificates, Ning Chuan and his group walked in. Then they were arranged into a room with a total of 5 barracks. Louise and Mona shared one. Yi Lingling and Ning Rongrong shared one. The Shi brothers shared one. Yu Feng and Huang Jia shared one. Zhu Zhuqing was Ning Chuan's only girlfriend on the surface, so the two of them were assigned to one room, and this barracks was also the most luxurious, comparable to the Rose Hotel in Soto City back then. It was clear that the Heaven Dew Empire had put in effort. Upon entering the barracks, Ning Chuan directly closed the door and hugged Zhu Zhuqing from behind. Feeling the strong masculine aura on Ning Chuan, Zhu Zhuqing's heart trembled, and she asked with a slight blush, "What are you doing?" Ning Chuan pressed his nose against Little Cat's head and sniffed hard. "I want to eat you." Ever since the battle of the two Nings, Ning Chuan had developed a taste for it. Ning Rongrong was also like this. Almost every night she would secretly sneak into Ning Chuan's room. Originally, Ning Chuan planned to eat Little Cat Louise and Yi Lingling after the preliminary round ended. Unexpectedly, Cayenne Renksu ruined it. As he spoke, Ning Chuan had already reached into Little Cat's collar, and Little Cat also symbolically resisted for a moment, then closed her eyes. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and Ning Chuan immediately felt a surge of anger. Why at this critical moment, Zhu Zhuqing was so startled that she quickly burrowed into the quilt. "Who is it?" Ning Chuan's tone was full of displeasure and impatience. "Xiao Chuan, Schoolmaster Ning and the Crown Prince are here, looking for you." A clear voice came from outside the door. It was Louise. As she spoke, she seemed to think of something and said with some apology and apprehension, "Did I disturb you?" "No, absolutely not." Ning Chuan quickly opened the door. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be disturbed, but there were a few exceptions, and Louise was one of them. Louise looked at Zhu Zhuqing wrapped in the quilt, then at Ning Chuan, whose clothes were a bit disheveled. How could she not understand what had just happened? All right, Schoolmaster Ning and the Crown Prince are outside. You tidy up your clothes, I'll go back first." As she spoke, she ran away with a blush. Ning Chuan secretly chuckled to himself. Although Louise usually seemed charming and seductive, when it came to that step, she was unexpectedly pure. After Louise left, Ning Chuan closed the door again, tidying his disheveled clothes and calming his heated emotions, while also comforting Zhu Zhuqing. "Zhuqing, I'll go out first and be back in a bit." Zhu Zhuqing softly responded. Just as Ning Chuan was about to go out, Zhu Zhuqing called out to him again, "Ning Chuan." Ning Chuan looked back, only to see Zhu Zhuqing's small head already peeking out from the quilt. "I'll wait for you to come back," she said with a flushed face, then immediately shrank back. The new Royal Fight Team's independent courtyard had a total of 6 barracks. 5 were for living, and 1 was a tea room, which could also be used to receive guests and hold meetings. Before long, Ning Chuan saw Ning Fengzhai and Zhu Qing, who was disguised by Cayenne Renksu. Ning Fengzhai's purpose was nothing more than to win over Ning Chuan, and he subtly expressed his willingness to accept Ning Chuan marrying both Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing at the same time. After a series of meaningless conversations, the two prepared to leave. At this moment, Cayenne Renksu's spirit power transmission echoed in Ning Chuan's mind. It seems this school, Master Ning, is truly resorting to all means to win you over, even planning for his daughter to share a husband with another woman. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but Ning Chuan could faintly detect a hint of sourness in Kaiyan Rengsu's tone. His daughter has long been completely taken by me. Why would I need him to allow it? Ning Chuan curled his lip. You, Kaiyan Rengsu was furious, and a ripple actually flashed across her usually calm face. Ning Fengzhai seemed to notice something and suddenly asked, King, what's wrong? Ning Chuan answered for Kaiyan Rengsu, nothing, it's just this meeting. Snow Brother probably feels our relationship has become a bit distant. This is my oversight, I apologize, Snow Brother. Chapter 188. Promotional Match. Kitty's highlight moment as he spoke. Ning Chuan, in front of Ning Fengzhai, went up and gave Kaiyan Rengsu a bear hug. And from an angle Ning Fengzhai couldn't see, he patted her back with his left hand and grabbed her butt with his right hand. And it's true, even with the angel suit spirit bone disguise, it was quite bouncy. It made Ning Chuan feel a rush of excitement. I'm right, aren't I, Snow Brother? Ning Chuan said and touched her again. This scoundrel, he really knew I was a girl all along. Kaiyan Rengsu was so angry her chest hurt, but in front of Ning Fengzhai she couldn't show it, so she could only force a smile and agree. Seeing this scene of brotherly affection, Ning Fengzhai was also very pleased. A moment later, the two left. Ning Chuan eagerly returned to his room. First, he released devouring gold bugs to block all sources of light. Then, he burrowed into the quilt where Little Cat was. After a period of blissful chaos, he finally got what he wanted. Early the next morning, Ning Chuan pulled Little Cat for some morning exercise, and then the two of them came to the tea restaurant. The Heaven Dew royal family had already sent people to deliver breakfast. The breakfast was very rich, all made with various precious ingredients. However, compared to the lavish breakfast, the members of the new royal fight team were more focused on the two who arrived hand in hand. More accurately, Zhu Zhuqing. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing, like Ning Rongrong back then, was radiant. Not only had her skin improved significantly, but her whole person also exuded a unique, mature aura. As someone who had been through it, Ning Rongrong immediately recognized what had happened last night. After the two entered, she directly pulled Zhu Zhuqing aside to whisper. After breakfast, everyone went to the venue for the promotion tournament, the Royal Knights Grand Training Ground. The Grand Training Ground had been redesigned, with a 100-meter diameter area in the center marked out as the competition arena. Due to the addition of the new Royal Fight Team, the original 15 participating teams became 16, who would compete in 15 rounds of round-robin matches. Each round would have 8 matches. On the north side of the Grand Training Ground, a temporary VIP stand, also serving as the referee stand, was erected facing south. Representatives from various forces, led by Emperor Zhu Yi, Ning Fengzhai, and Bishop Salas, as well as Heaven Dew Empire nobles, were seated there. The outer perimeter of the Grand Training Ground was surrounded by the Heaven Dew Royal Knights' most elite soldiers. Emperor Zhu Yi's purpose in having them observe was simple: to let his most elite warriors see the strength of the new generation of young spirit masters, to inspire their fighting spirit. And these 16 qualified teams, regardless of their performance in the promotion tournament, could all proceed to Spirit City to participate in the finals. Therefore, compared to team battles, the promotion tournament placed more emphasis on individual strength. All matches were one-on-one. Each team sent 7 people, and whichever side's 7 people fell first was declared the loser, and vice versa. To put it nicely, it was for the participating members to display their strength, but in reality, it was just to facilitate the Heaven Dew Empire, Spirit Hall, and the various sects and noble forces in recruiting excellent spirit masters. Ning Chuan didn't have much interest in this. After all, no matter how strong these contestants were, they were only at the spirit ancestor level. If he got serious, few could withstand one of his sword strikes, so Ning Chuan gave the opportunity to participate to Zhu Zhuqing, the Shi brothers, and Yu Feng, Huang Jia. In the first match, the Heaven Dew Royal Academy main team, which was Ning Chuan's new royal fight team, was on stage. Their opponent was a qualified team from the Kingdom of Macedonia. Zhu Zhuqing was the first to go on stage, defeating 7 opponents in a row, including 2 spirit ancestors. She directly achieved a 1 versus 7 victory. This directly shocked the entire audience. Even the 4 Element Academies and the Shrek team, who had participated in the qualifiers together, seemed not to have anticipated Zhu Zhuqing possessing such strength. One must know, this was a continuous battle. It wasn't something that could be achieved by simply being strong. Spirit power consumption also had to be considered. When Zhu Zhuqing walked from the competition arena into the new Royal Fight Team's resting area, in the Shrek team's resting area, both Tang San and Dai Mubai frowned. Zhu Zhuqing was simply too strong, like a completely different person compared to when she was at Shrek. Not only did her spirit power surpass all of theirs, even her practical combat ability was terrifying. Boss Dai, can you handle her? Ma Hongjun gulped, filled with immense regret, regretting why he had chosen to stand with Tang San and Dai Mubai back then. Otherwise, if he had followed Ning Chuan, perhaps he would have already become a spirit ancestor. Her speed is indeed very fast, and her movements are very sharp, but she is, after all, only an agility attack system spirit master. Her attack power is limited. If I face that bitch, I will make her regret what she did back then, Dai Mubai said hatefully. Even at this moment, he still believed that Zhu Zhuqing could not be his opponent. After all, from ancient times until now, when spirit power was not significantly different, there had never been an instance of a Hell Civet defeating a white tiger. Otherwise, the emperors would not be their Dai family, but the Zhu family. He only needed to defend and wait for an opening, consume Zhu Zhuqing's spirit power, and then seize the opportunity to defeat her in one fell swoop. The second match featured the Shrek team. After all, they had qualified as the second-place team in the preliminaries, so in the end, Emperor Zhu Yi still recognized them as the Heaven Dew Royal Academy's vice team. It was just that they themselves didn't care much and still referred to themselves as the Shrek team. The result was undoubtedly a victory for the Shrek team. The third match was Blazing Academy, the fourth was Wind Spirit Academy, the fifth was Thunder Academy, and the sixth was Tianshui Academy. Undoubtedly, they all achieved victory. With this, all 6 teams that qualified from the Heaven Dew Empire's preliminary competition achieved victory. This made Emperor Zhu Yi smile so wide he couldn't close his mouth. Representatives from other kingdoms beside him also timely offered their flattery. Only Bishop Salas looked displeased, and occasionally had to endure sarcastic remarks from Ning Fengzhai. He was so angry his teeth itched. Although Ning Chuan didn't know what they were talking about, he could guess, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart, that old fox Ning Fengzhai was truly courting disaster. Also gnashing her teeth in anger was Huo Wu. After defeating her opponent, she looked directly at Ning Chuan and Tang San and pointed her index finger at them. Facing Huo Wu's provocation, Tang San merely ignored it, but Ning Chuan completely disregarded her throughout, which infuriated Huo Wu. Following this, Meng Yuren's Exotic Beast Academy also took the stage. Her simple school uniform outlined her perfect figure, and a sturdy, slender snake-headed staff was held horizontally in her hand. After acquiring the phoenix-tailed crested serpent, her strength had improved by a significant margin. Relying on her third spirit ability, Snake Wings, which could unleash the speed of a 1,000-year phoenix-tailed crested serpent, she managed to defeat 3 opponents, including a spirit ancestor, despite being below the spirit ancestor cultivation level. When Meng Yuren walked off the competition stage, she also looked at Ning Chuan and Tang San, and mimicked Huo Wu's gesture of pointing. However, her expression was slightly different. Towards Ning Chuan, it was a display of power, a challenge to him. Towards Tang San, her face was filled with disgust, because the scene of Tang San spewing filth in the Stardew Great Forest that day was still vivid in Meng Yuren's memory. Chapter 189, Tang San's worries. However, she also knew that she had gained an unfair advantage back then, which was why she wanted to challenge him again. Meng Yuren and Huo Wu's actions undoubtedly drew the attention of many participating academies and nobles from various duchies to Ning Chuan and Tang San. After some inquiries, many people were surprised by Ning Chuan's strength, while they showed disdain for Tang-san, almost feeling ashamed to be associated with him. Feeling the strange gazes from the numerous participating students, Ning Chuan smiled indifferently. Tang-san's face was as dark as could be. He didn't need to guess to know what these people were saying. This caused Tang-san's killing intent towards Yu Xiaogang to intensify by several points. In fact, if he didn't still need to rely on him to obtain the cultivation method for twin spirits, he would have killed that good-for-nothing long ago. Ning Rongrong saw all of this and chuckled to the side. Ning Chuan, it seems that Hua Wu and that Meng Yuran from before are both pestering you, plus Waterbinger from Tianshui Academy. Why don't you take them all in? Add a few more sisters for us. Ning Chuan glared at her exasperatedly. When did you become so generous? Besides, have you considered Zhu Zhuking's feelings? But Zhu Zhuking's next words were beyond Ning Chuan's expectation. She leaned into Ning Chuan's ear and whispered, "As long as they're not some disreputable bad women, I can allow you to bring them home." Cough. Ning Chuan's old face flushed and he looked at her incredulously. "Zhuking, you're not joking, are you?" Ning Rongrong snorted lightly. "Joking. You're so strong in that regard, Zhuking and I alone can't endure it." Recalling the time she was utterly defeated by Ning Chuan, Ning Rongrong still felt a lingering fear. Although it was incredibly satisfying, it nearly took half her life. Zhu Zhuking nodded in deep agreement. After that experience, it was not difficult for her to guess that Ning Rongrong had also been taken by Ning Chuan a long time ago. Although her physique was stronger than Ning Rongrong's, her endurance couldn't compare. Yesterday, it nearly took half her life. It wasn't until she talked with Ning Rongrong that she realized her man was not only strong in power, but also incredibly strong in that regard. Beyond the normal range for men. Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share infinite novel audio. She still wanted to cultivate and improve her strength. She didn't want to be exhausted every time. As they spoke, the match on the field had already taken a turn. Although Meng Yuran had defeated 4 opponents, the strength of her academy's other students was not impressive, and they were almost swept. And with the match progressing this far, it was not difficult to discern the strength of each side in the promotion rounds. Even setting aside the new Royal Fight Team and Shrek, the participating teams from various kingdoms and duchies still had a certain gap in overall strength compared to the 4 element academies. The first day of competition progressed quickly, with basically no evenly matched situations occurring. So in just half a day, 8 matches concluded. After the matches, the team leaders from each academy went on stage to draw lots. To Ning Chuan's surprise, in the second round of competition, the new Royal Fight Team was drawn against Shrek. Upon returning to the camp, Zhu Zhuking went back to her room to rest first. She had another match tomorrow and had consumed a large amount of spirit power today, so she needed to recover quickly. Yi Lingling accompanied her. After exploration, Ning Chuan discovered that Yi Lingling's Sacred Heart Begonia, in addition to countering all poisons, could also accelerate a spirit master's spirit power recovery. The next morning, the competition began. The first one to go on for Shrek was Yu Tianheng. It must be said that the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, as the Spirit Master's world's acknowledged top beast spirit, indeed had some tricks up its sleeve. He consecutively defeated the Shi brothers right from the start, and it wasn't until the third round, when his spirit power was difficult to sustain, that he was blown out of the fighting arena by Yu Feng's 4th spirit ability, Gale Dance. Next, Xiao Wu entered the stage. Facing Xiao Wu, who possessed 2 bug-like spirit abilities, Teleportation and Paragon Golden Body, Yu Feng did not gain an advantage. With his spirit power lower than Xiao Wu's, he fell victim to her charm, was teleported close, and thrown out of the fighting arena. The Ning Chuan entered the stage. Yellow, purple, purple, black. 4 spirit rings appeared simultaneously. As soon as he appeared, this exaggerated spirit ring configuration immediately drew everyone's attention. Tangsen even stood up directly. "No, I can't let Xiao Wu take risks." Yu Xiaogang, however, held him down. "Just let Xiao Wu go. Ning Chuan's strength has already exceeded the scope of the Soul Master competition. If it's a one-on-one fight, even the 3 Spirit Kings from Spirit Hall Academy might not be his match. Now, the only way is to use a war of attrition to deplete his spirit power. Xiao Wu, with her Paragon Golden Body and teleportation, is undoubtedly the best choice. If it becomes truly unsustainable, self-preservation will not be an issue. Flender echoed from the side. That's right, Tang-san, you have to believe Xiao Gang. He's a professional. Moreover, Xiao Wu and Ning Chuan were once friends. Ning Chuan won't harm her. Upon hearing this, Tang-san's already dark face darkened even further. He wasn't worried about Xiao Wu getting hurt. What he was truly worried about was Xiao Wu and Ning Chuan rekindling their old flames. That was the most critical thing. While he was thinking, the 2 on the field had already begun to move. Xiao Wu winked at Ning Chuan and made the first move, darting forward with an arrow-like step. Her second and third spirit rings lit up consecutively, and her eyes shimmered with a pink glow. Facing Xiao Wu's charm, Ning Chuan was not affected in the slightest. Similarly, he did not deliberately try to counterattack her. He merely transmitted a message. Xiao Wu, prepare Paragon Golden Body. I'm going to send you off the arena. As the words fell, Xiao Wu had already teleported to Ning Chuan's side. A surprising scene occurred. Ning Chuan, as if he had anticipated it, swung his sword. Xiao Wu. Tang-san was so startled that he stood up directly, wanting to rush onto the fighting arena. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Xiao Wu's 4th spirit ring lit up. Her 4th spirit ability, Paragon Golden Body, activated. The golden light emitted by Paragon Golden Body blocked Ning Chuan's sword energy. Even so, Xiao Wu was still pushed out of the competition stage by the powerful force of Ning Chuan's sword strike. Finally, she flipped several times in the air before barely stabilizing herself. The Shrek team immediately rushed over. Tang-san asked with concern, Xiao Wu, are you all right? For some reason, as he said this, everyone felt that Tang-san seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Was it because Xiao Wu wasn't injured? I used Paragon Golden Body at the last moment to block it. I'm not injured. Xiao Wu shook her head, deliberately feigning a look of lingering fear. At the same time, the various participating academies had already erupted into a frenzy. To avoid attracting attention, Yu Xiaogang, who had been sitting in the resting area with Liu Erlong and Flender, watched Ning Chuan, who had just instantly defeated Xiao Wu on the stage, his eyes wide, and muttered in his somewhat sharp voice, "Has the gap become so immense?" At the same innate spirit power of half a level, how did he become a good for nothing? Flender tried to persuade him from the side. Xiao Gang, just give up. Continuing will only injure the little freaks. No. Now, excluding the 2 support system Spirit Masters, the new Royal Fight Team's effective combat strength is only Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing. We only need to defeat Ning Chuan, and this victory will definitely belong to us. Chapter 190. Zhu Zhuqing transforms into Black Widow. As Yu Xiaogang spoke, he thought to himself, so what if your combat power is unparalleled? If you don't understand tactics and teamwork, you will ultimately lose to this Grandmaster's strategy. However, the next scene made Yu Xiaogang's mentality collapse once again. Including Ma Hongjun, 3 more Shrek team members entered the arena, and without exception, they couldn't even make Ning Chuan move a single step. As soon as they summoned their spirit, they were split out of the arena by Ning Chuan's sword from a distance, losing decisively. Finally, only Dai Mubai and Tang-san were left from Shrek who could participate. Dai Mubai said directly, "Third brother, let me go. Even if I force him to use a spirit ability, it will consume some of his spirit power, giving you a better chance of winning. That slut Zhuqing will definitely not be your opponent. Then be careful in everything you do." Tang-san nodded heavily. After stepping onto the stage, Dai Mubai's 1st and 3rd spirit rings lit up simultaneously. He immediately activated White Tiger Barrier and White Tiger Vajra transformation, entering his strongest state. However, just as he was about to make a move, to everyone's surprise, Ning Chuan directly chose to forfeit. What is Ning Chuan doing? It's just a mere Dai Mubai. It would only take 1 sword. Kill him. In the blazing academy resting area, Huo Wu said angrily upon seeing this scene. Fire Wushwang, however, shook his head and looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who had already stepped onto the stage, saying, Dai Mubai's strength is even weaker than mine. It's naturally not difficult for Ning Chuan to defeat him, but what he truly wants is probably not to defeat Dai Mubai, but to let Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai make a clean break. That's right, that eunuch used to be Zhuqing's fiancé, I think. It's time for them to settle things. This time, Huo Wu did not refute, but instead fully supported Ning Chuan's actions. And when Dai Mubai saw Zhu Zhuqing enter the arena, he was both happy and worried. He was happy that he could so quickly teach that slut who betrayed him a lesson, but he was worried that her spirit power had already surpassed his, and coupled with the strength she had shown earlier, he wasn't entirely confident. Perhaps to bolster his courage, Dai Mubai didn't act immediately, but said coldly, HMPH, Zhu Zhuqing, don't think that just because your spirit power is 2 ranks higher than mine, you can easily surpass me. The gap between the Hell Civet and White Tiger Spirit is not so easily bridged. Enough, what's the use of saying so much? The match will end very soon. Make your move. Zhu Zhuqing decided to finish the fight quickly. She really had no interest in wasting time with Dai Mubai. The opponent's strength was even weaker than Fire Wushwang's, so she was truly too lazy to bother with this eunuch. Dai Mubai's face flushed red. Zhu Zhuqing's impatient tone made him so angry his lungs almost burst. Since when would his star Luo royal family be looked down upon by the Zhu family? Slut, go to hell. With a roar, Dai Mubai's spirit power circulated to its limit, and his 2 tiger claws extended their barbs, ready to grab Zhu Zhuqing. PFFT. A black light flashed, and 6 black spider lances, each about a zhang long, extended from Zhu Zhuqing's back. Before Dai Mubai could even get close, they pierced through his white tiger barrier and white tiger Vajra transformation defenses. 3 of the spider lances even pierced through Dai Mubai's shoulders and left thigh. Under the effects of the neurotoxin and the penetrating wounds, Dai Mubai was no longer able to resist. He let out a tragic scream like a pig being slaughtered. External spirit bone. In the VIP stands, including Sarah's, Emperor Zhu Yi, and Ning Fengzhai, everyone stood up, their faces filled with shock. They had originally thought that this little girl was already powerful enough, and in terms of individual strength, she could at least rank among the top 5. They never expected her to have the trump card of an external spirit bone, and it seemed to have been completely fused. After a brief moment of shock, Ning Fengzhai smiled and sat back down, thinking to himself, this is truly an unexpected surprise. When Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing grow up in the future, their 7 treasure-glazed tile school will surely gain 2 powerful titled Douluo, adding Rongrong, as well as Sword Uncle and Bone Uncle. That would be 5 Douluo in one sect. At that time, even if Spirit Hall wanted to move against them, they would have to think twice. At this moment, Emperor Zhu Yi also reacted. Haha, Schoolmaster Ning, Bishop Salas, this sister-in-law of King truly keeps her abilities hidden. She actually possesses an external spirit bone. Ning Fengzhai smiled and nodded in agreement. Your Majesty is absolutely right. With Ning Chuan and this Zhuqing assisting King in the future, he will surely become a wise ruler, spreading the prestige of our Heaven-Dew Empire. Although Bishop Salas next to him said nothing, he sneered inwardly, thinking, laugh, laugh. You'll have your time to cry later. If you ever find out that Ning Chuan stands with our young master, let's see if you can still laugh. On the competition stage, Dai Mubai was still screaming tragically. Zhu Zhuqing seemed to be venting years of dissatisfaction with Dai Mubai, controlling the Black Widow external soul bone, constantly stirring it within Dai Mubai's wounds. The pain made Dai Mubai feel as if he was dying and coming back to life. Flender naturally couldn't watch Dai Mubai suffer, so he quickly stood up and said, Shrek forfeits, we forfeit. But he was stopped by Tang San. No, we can't forfeit. He had already recognized Zhu Zhuqing's external spirit bone. It came from a spider-type spirit beast, the Black Widow. This instantly reminded him of the one he missed in the Star du Great Forest because of diarrhea. He vaguely remembered that Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Chuan had gone to dispose of the Black Widow's corpse together back then. If Zhu Zhuqing's external spirit bone came from that Black Widow, then he would absolutely not forgive Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing, those two thieves. So, are you forfeiting or not? The referee looked at the two of them speechlessly. One said forfeit, the other said not forfeit. Who was he supposed to listen to? Yu Xiaogang added, Dai Mubai forfeits. Shrek's last team member will continue the match. Saying that, he looked at Tang San. Little San, Zhu Zhuqing's external spirit bone seems to possess potent venom. You must be extremely careful. Tang San suppressed the anger in his heart, took a deep breath, and replied, I know. On the other side, Zhu Zhuqing released Dai Mubai at the referee's signal, but because Dai Mubai was already poisoned, the match naturally couldn't start immediately. Zhu Zhuqing needed to detoxify him. As the toxins were absorbed by the Black Widow spirit bone, inevitably, some of Dai Mubai's vitality was also absorbed. The Hell Sivet spirit within Zhu Zhuqing seemed to sense something, emitting a sensation different from the pulsating feeling that came from the White Tiger spirit and Hell Sivet spirit when she first met Dai Mubai. In the depths of her being, a special force seemed to be compelling her to absorb Dai Mubai's vitality. It was as if she would gain immense benefits if she simply devoured Dai Mubai. This feeling made her almost unable to stop. All right, Zhuqing, stop now. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Ning Chuan's spirit power voice transmission made Zhu Zhuqing sober up from her excitement. Otherwise, Dai Mubai would have been completely drained. After Dai Mubai was carried off the fighting stage by Flender, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Tang San, who was walking into the arena. Tang San's gaze remained fixed on Zhu Zhuqing, especially when he saw the 6 spider lances on her back, which were comparable to the 2 strongest front limbs of his 8 spider lances. His eyes filled with unconcealed anger and hostility. Zhu Zhuqing, on the other hand, looked full of fighting spirit, because for Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Mubai was no longer a spirit master on the same level as her. Looking at the entire Shrek Academy, only Tang San could make her go all out. The two looked at each other, and at the referee's signal, they released their spirits. 4 spirit rings, 2 yellow and 2 purple, simultaneously appeared from their bodies. Tang San raised his right palm, and a familiar blue light emerged from it. He planned to use the control system of blue-silver grass to counter Zhu Zhuqing's agility attack system. Zhu Zhuqing let out a somewhat sharp meow. A faint black light surged from her body, instantly completing her Hell Sivet possession. Tang San stared at Zhu Zhuqing and said, Where did you get your external spirit bone? Zhu Zhuqing smiled coldly and retorted, Then where did you get your external spirit bone? My external spirit bone was obtained from a spirit beast I killed, Tang San said. What a coincidence, I'm the same as you, Zhu Zhuqing said calmly. Her external spirit bone was indeed obtained from a spirit beast that Tang San had killed. But in Tang San's eyes, this was clearly mocking him, refusing to admit it. I hate thieves the most in my life. If you confess honestly, then considering that you were once friends with Xiao Wu, there is still room for reconciliation. Zhu Zhuqing sneered, Aren't you a thief yourself? Otherwise, where did that mysterious heaven treasure record come from? As soon as these words came out, the entire audience was in an uproar. Some people who didn't know the truth inquired about what the mysterious heaven treasure record was. Others who knew the truth showed expressions of interest. Could Tang San endure this? His dark face instantly turned a liver-like purple. Match start. At the referee's command, the two in the arena moved almost simultaneously. Their first spirit ring lit up, sharp cat claws extended from her 10 fingers. Zhu Zhuqing's body suddenly accelerated, and under the enhancement of the Black Widow external soul bone, black light trailed a long afterimage behind her, her speed as swift as wind. Tang San was greatly surprised. What kind of speed was this? According to his understanding, although Zhu Zhuqing's speed was very fast, it wasn't this fast. Even Ning Chuan was probably only this fast. Was it the enhancement of the external spirit bone? There was no time for Tang San to think too much. Zhu Zhuqing almost instantly rushed in front of him. Her sharp cat claws flashed with a subtle, shimmering white color. striking directly at Tang San's chest. At the same time, the 6 shiny black spider lances on Zhu Zhuking's back also attacked simultaneously, stabbing towards Tang San. All of Tang San's escape routes were instantly blocked. In a hurry, Tang San dared not be careless in the slightest. His purple demon eye instantly activated, a hint of purple flashing in his eyes. He used Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track, his body rapidly flickering as he retreated explosively. Just as he retreated, a hint of purple also flashed in Zhu Zhuking's eyes, but because her eyes glowed purple after her spirit possession, it wasn't obvious. Her speed remained undiminished as she clawed towards Tang San. Tang San was again greatly surprised. He found that he could never shake off Zhu Zhuking's aura lock. At this critical moment, Tang San decisively released his 8 spider lances, and at the same time, he used Mysterious Jade Hand. Under the enhancement of the 8 spider lances, Tang San was finally able to barely discern Zhu Zhuking's speed. He simultaneously chopped with both hands, using the technique of controlling crane catching dragon to meet Zhu Zhuking's cat claws. However, Zhu Zhuking seemed to have completely seen through controlling crane catching dragon. She actually used the force-dissipating trajectory of controlling crane catching dragon to increase her own speed. Left with no choice, Tang San could only use Mysterious Jade Hand to directly block Zhu Zhuking's first spirit ability, Hell Rush Stab. Seeing this scene, Ning Chuan secretly chuckled. Although the Underground Devil Spider External Spirit Bone provides a 5% stronger overall boost than the Black Widow External Soul Bone, this is not enough to compensate for the spirit power gap between the two of them, and Little Cat has also cultivated Mysterious Jade Hand. Under the enhancement of this Hell Rush Stab, I hope you can still remain unharmed. Clang, 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 clang. Accompanied by a series of metallic clangs, sparks flew from Tang San's jade-like hands, and wherever Zhu Zhuking's cat claws passed, they left deep, bone-visible claw marks. At the same time, the Underground Devil Spider External Spirit Bone had also clashed with the Black Widow External Soul Bone. Although it blocked the Black Widow External Soul Bone's offensive, Tang San himself was not having an easy time after being hit by Hell Rush Stab. Damn it, why can she see through my Tang Sect secret skills? His Mysterious Jade Hand being broken not only caused skin and flesh wounds on Tang San's palms, but also a greater blow to his mind and body. Previously, when facing Ning Chuan, he could barely accept being defeated by the opponent's overwhelming strength, but now, having his Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track and controlling crane catching dragon broken by skill made it difficult for him to accept. The strong psychological contrast nearly drove Tang San mad. Relying on his robust physique, which had absorbed 2 strength-type spirit rings, he exerted force, controlling the Underground Devil Spider External Spirit Bone to forcefully push back Zhu Zhuking, while his 3rd and 4th spirit rings simultaneously lit up. As soon as Zhu Zhuking's heels touched the ground, she was surrounded by the blue-silver prison. Immediately after, the light sphere formed by Tang San's 3rd spirit ability, Spider Web Restraint, also followed, transforming into a huge spider web that covered her. Tang San summoned his Clear Sky Hammer and swung it at Zhu Zhuking, following behind the spider web. In his opinion, Zhu Zhuking's cat claws might be able to break free from the blue-silver prison, but she would definitely not be able to break free from the spider web restraint. However, in the next moment, a scene that astonished Tang San and everyone present occurred. As soon as the blue-silver prison and spider web restraint appeared, they were immediately blocked by the Black Widow Spirit Bone extending from Zhu Zhuking's back. Then transformed into pure blue energy that was absorbed by the Black Widow External Soul Bone. Ning Chuan, what's going on? Why did Tang San's blue-silver grass disappear as soon as it touched Zhuking's External Spirit Bone? Yu Feng looked at Ning Chuan in confusion. Besides Louise, Ning Rongrong, and Yilingaling, who already knew, everyone else also cast curious glances. Ning Chuan explained, Zhuking's External Spirit Bone comes from the spider-type spirit beast Black Widow. It is the bane of all spider web-type spirit abilities. Upon hearing this, everyone understood, but their gazes towards Tang San became more playful. And Tang San was indeed dealt a blow. His clear sky hammer's first spirit ring lit up, and he swung the dazzling, golden hammer at Zhu Zhuking, but with his clumsy speed. As long as Zhu Zhuking didn't deliberately put her head in the way, how could he possibly hit her? Chapter 192. Clear Sky Hammer's defeat with just a flicker of her figure. She dodged Tang San's hammer strike, and her second and third spirit rings lit up consecutively, splitting Zhu Zhuking into 3 figures. The 3 Zhu Zhukings stood in a triangle formation, and 2 clones simultaneously launched purple-black claw auras at Tang San from a distance. Meanwhile, Zhu Zhuking's main body unleashed Netherworld 100 Claws, but this Netherworld 100 Claws was no longer a close-range attack. It was a distant, mutated spirit ability of Netherworld 100 Claws. Netherworld 100 Blade Kill. This was also one of Zhu Zhuking's cultivation achievements over the past 2 years. Facing the overwhelming claw auras, Tang San felt the clear sky hammer was incredibly useless for the first time. At this moment, against an agility attack system spirit master like Zhu Zhuking who had excellent speed, he was reduced to a living target. The clear sky hammer's first spirit ability, Adamantine Pestle, and second spirit ability, Demon Bear Hammer, were both single-target spirit abilities. Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track had also been completely seen through by Zhu Zhuking. In desperation, he could only resort to his old technique, swinging the Chaotic Cloak Hammer technique to defend. However, he ultimately underestimated the power of the mutated spirit ability of Netherworld 100 Claws. The Hurricane Circle just formed by the Chaotic Cloak Hammer technique was simply insufficient to completely defend against the claw auras of Netherworld 100 Claws, which carried a piercing effect. After the Clear Sky Hammer and the 8 Spider Lances blocked most of the claw auras, a small portion of them still penetrated the Hurricane Circle and landed on Tang San's body. Although most of their power had been offset by the Hurricane Circle, the wounds were not deep, but the spirit power permeated into Tang San's body, furiously damaging his meridians. Tang San's throat sweetened, and a trace of blood couldn't help but spill from the corner of his mouth, but Zhu Zhuking still had no intention of letting him go. With one mind performing 3 tasks, she continuously controlled her clones to launch claw attacks at Tang San, while her main body also moved at high speed, circling Tang San and seizing opportunities to launch distant Netherworld 100 Claws attacks. In the VIP section, whether it was Emperor Zhu Yi, Ning Fengjai, or Bishop Salas, they were all stunned. Was this really a battle at the spirit ancestor level? They would even believe it if it were described as a duel between 2 spirit kings with optimal spirit ring configurations. Tang San was one thing, possessing twin spirits, with his second spirit being the world's #1 tool spirit, the Clear Sky Hammer. But he was consistently at a disadvantage against Zhu Zhuking, suffering continuous injuries. Emperor Zhu, he felt very fortunate that his son had befriended Ning Chuan. Ning Fengjai was equally fortunate that his daughter had chosen to go with Ning Chuan back then and not continue to stay at Shrek. Otherwise, how could there be the 9-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit now? How could there be the spirit ancestor cultivation now? And how could there be the opportunity to befriend Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuking, these 2 geniuses, and bring them into the sect? The shock in Sarah's eyes gradually turned into schadenfreude. Twin spirits, Clear Sky Hammer. Losing to Ning Chuan earlier was one thing, but now losing to a Hell Sivet spirit with similar spirit power, the Clear Sky sect's face had truly been lost by this kid. At this moment, whether it was Emperor Zhu Yi, Ning Fengjai, or Sarah's, all 3 were in an exceptionally joyful mood. On the other hand, the Shrek group was all sweating for Tang San. Dai Mubai, who had already woken up from his coma state, saw this scene and his pale face was full of worry. Not good, third brother is in danger. His Chaotic Cloak Hammer technique has already been seen through by Ning Chuan, and that bitch Zhu Zhuking definitely knows how to break it too. Yu Xiaogang spoke from the side. Not necessarily. Ning Chuan's ability to break the chaotic cloak hammer technique was based on him having sufficiently powerful attacks. Although Zhu Zhuqing is strong, at the end of the day, she is just an agility attack system spirit master and cannot collapse the ground. Upon hearing this, the Shrek group felt a little relieved. In fact, Zhu Zhuqing indeed could not collapse the ground, but her continuous attacks directly prevented Tang San from stopping his clear sky hammer swings. Because once the chaotic cloak hammer technique stopped, he would definitely be met with a barrage of attacks like a storm. At that point, he would lose. But no matter how unwilling he was to admit defeat, this disorder-splitting wind hammer method could at most be swung for the 36th hammer. And Zhu Zhuqing was waiting for this opportunity. The moment Tang San finished his 36th hammer, Zhu Zhuqing's fourth spirit ring lit up. Fourth spirit ability Netherworld Terror Claw. She crossed her hands in front of her chest, and her 10 sharp claws instantly turned dark gold. With a sudden swing of her claws, a huge crossed claw aura, about 10 feet long, appeared out of thin air. Tang San saw that Zhu Zhuqing's move required charging, and instead of being alarmed, he was delighted. His second spirit ring lit up, and the clear sky hammer was instantly covered with a layer of faint gray light, as a great strength demon bear phantom appeared out of thin air. Tang San secretly scoffed in his heart, truly ignorant and fearless. To compare attacks with the clear sky hammer is simply courting death. The Shrek group also showed expressions of relief. Although no one had seen Zhu Zhuqing's fourth spirit ability before, no matter how powerful a fourth spirit ability of an agility attack system spirit master was, how could its attack power compare to the clear sky hammer? Only Ning Chuan, Yilingling, and Louise curled their lips. Indeed, if it were another agility attack system spirit master, they would certainly not be a match for Tang San's clear sky hammer. But Zhu Zhuqing's fourth spirit ability was not an ordinary fourth spirit ability. It came from a 6,000-year-old terror claw bear. Its attack power was no joke, directly comparable to a 10,000-year spirit ability of an attack system spirit master. And coincidentally, Tang San's clear sky hammer's second spirit ring also came from a bear-type spirit beast, the great strength demon bear. Although it was also considered a top-tier spirit beast, but in front of the terror claw bear, which possessed the bloodline of the dark gold terror claw bear, it was not enough. While Ning Chuan and the other two were deep in thought, a shocking scene unfolded in the arena. Demon bear hammer collided with netherworld terror claw. The devil bear phantom couldn't even block for a moment before it was torn apart by the huge claw aura released by netherworld terror claw. The claw aura continued its momentum, attacking Tang San. Yu Xiaogang directly exclaimed in shock. The clear sky hammer actually lost in a frontal battle. How is this possible? Tang San almost bit his tongue, but he had no time to think further. At this moment, he could only rely on the terrifying hardness of the clear sky hammer itself, and the 8 spider lance's spirit bone to resist this unparalleled claw aura. Immediately, Tang San held the clear sky hammer horizontally in front of him and controlled the front 4 spider lances of the 8 spider lances to cross and overlap with the clear sky hammer, while the back 4 spider lances pierced into the ground to fix him. Just as Tang San was resisting the claw aura of Netherworld Terror Claw, the 2 clones that had previously attacked Tang San with Zhu Zhuqing's main body circled around from the side and came behind Tang San. Tang San was already using all his strength just to resist Netherworld Terror Claw, so how could he guard against the pincer attack of 2 clones under Zhu Zhuqing's one mind performing 3 tasks? In a hurry, he only managed to control 2 of the 4 spider lances that were pierced into the ground to attack Zhu Zhuqing's 2 clones, but he only hit one of them, because he couldn't perform 3 tasks with one mind. Hitting one was already his limit. The other clone quietly avoided the spider lance and directly struck Tang San's kidney. Tang San could no longer hold on. The clear sky hammer in his hand was sent flying. The 8 spider lance's spirit bone lost control and was directly torn apart by Netherworld Terror Claw, and his entire body was thrown out, drawing a bloody line in the air. Chapter 193, the possibility of evolving the nether white tiger silence. The entire arena instantly fell into a deathly silence. Until Tang San's defeat, everyone seemed unable to believe that Tang San would actually lose. Although he had few supporters among the audience due to his diarrhea and ugly appearance, he was still a twin spirits user, and his second spirit was the Clear Sky Hammer, the #1 tool spirit in the world. He actually lost just like that. On the VIP platform, Emperor Zhu Yi sighed and shook his head, saying, "This Clear Sky Hammer has been disgraced in Tang San's hands. It completely lacks the style Clear Sky Douluo once had." That may be true, but it can't be entirely blamed on him. After all, Zhu Qing's strength is evident to all. In terms of individual strength, I'm afraid no one here, except Ning Chuan, would be her opponent. Moreover, Tang San's loss cannot be entirely blamed on him. It can only be said that he followed the wrong teacher. Ning Fengzhai knew that the Tang clan father and son disliked Yu Xiaogang, and also that Ning Chuan disliked Yu Xiaogang. So at this moment, speaking ill of Yu Xiaogang in front of Emperor Zhu Yi, he did so without any reservations. Emperor Zhu Yi chuckled. Indeed, this Zhu Qing is Ning Chuan's girlfriend. It is said that in the past 2 years, she and your esteemed daughter have also been cultivating under the guidance of Grandmaster Louise. Their strength must have progressed rapidly. It's just a pity that your esteemed daughter is a support system spirit master, so we won't be able to see her in this promotion match. The two chatted idly, seemingly both believing that Ning Chuan and Zhu Qing would choose to join their respective forces. Bishop Salas, who was beside them, glanced at them and sneered in his heart. "You couldn't even recruit our young master. You two go on with your pipe dreams. Netherworld Terror Claw. I never thought you would be able to obtain the spirit ring of the legendary spirit beast, the dark gold Dreadclaw Bear." Struggling to get up from the ground, Tang San's voice sounded full of dejection, bitterness, and unwillingness. He had some understanding of spirit beasts like the dark gold Dreadclaw Bear, although Yu Xiaogang's theories were either plagiarized or incorrect. But among the plagiarized ones, there were indeed some secrets unknown to outsiders, such as the dark demonic evil god tiger, dark gold Dreadclaw Bear, and others. He just never expected that Zhu Qing would actually encounter such a legendary spirit beast. No wonder his demon bear hammer crumbled at the first touch, and he only reacted after being defeated. Upon hearing this, Zhu Qing said nothing, nor did she feel the need to explain anything to Tang San. She certainly wouldn't tell him that what she obtained was merely a Dreadclaw Bear spirit ring, not a dark gold Dreadclaw Bear. She turned her head to look at the referee. The referee finally reacted. New Royal Fight Team versus Shrek Team. New Royal Fight Team wins. Seeing that Zhu Qing didn't even bother to acknowledge him, Tang San immediately became furious and said, "If you hadn't launched a sneak attack, there's no way you could have defeated me. Are you going to say next that if this wasn't a competition, I would never have been your opponent?" Zhu Qing finally spoke, looking at Tang San with an expression as if she were looking at trash. "Tang San, your intelligence-reducing hammer technique doesn't work on everyone." With that, Zhu Qing turned and walked off the competition stage. PFFT, Tang San, upon hearing Zhu Qing's words, spat out another mouthful of old blood. This wasn't due to injury, but from sheer anger. Immediately following was regret, regretting that he had become Yu Xiaogang's disciple. If he hadn't become Yu Xiaogang's disciple back then, he wouldn't have developed such a fighting mindset, nor would he have suffered such a crushing defeat today. As soon as the referee announced their defeat, the Shrek team rushed onto the competition arena. Yu Xiaogang even snatched the recovery sausage from Oscar's hand, expressed concern and sympathy to Tang San, and offered his poisonous chicken soup for the soul. "Little San, are you all right? Don't be disheartened. The reason for this loss is entirely because none of us expected Zhu Qing to have such a hidden killing move. With preparation next time, victory will surely be yours." But it was better that he didn't say these words. Once he did, Tang San wished he could open his 8 spider lances and stab him to death. It was simply too infuriating. If he hadn't believed his nonsense all these years, and instead had become Grandmaster Louise's disciple, he would never have become like this. Even Ning Chuan could obtain a 1,000-year second ring and a 10,000-year fourth ring. With his twin spirits, mysterious heaven skill, and numerous Tang sect secret arts, he would never be like this. He couldn't even defeat Zhu Zhuqing, whose spirit was merely a hell civet. A moment later, Tang Sen finally suppressed the murderous intent in his heart towards Yu Xiaogang. There was no other way. He still needed to obtain the twin spirits cultivation method, and killing Yu Xiaogang here would easily earn him the reputation of a master killer. It wouldn't be too late to secretly kill him after the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament concludes, and he obtains the Twin Spirits cultivation method. I'm fine. Thank you, teacher. Tang Sen shook his head, took the recovery sausage, and swallowed it in one gulp. However, he was thinking to himself whether, after obtaining the 8 Spider Lance's external spirit bone, his physique had further improved, making it possible to obtain a 3rd or even 4th spirit ring for his clear sky hammer. After the match with Zhu Zhuqing and the previous match with Ning Chuan in the preliminaries, he deeply realized his shortcomings. Once his blue-silver grass, a spirit that Yu Xiaogang had caused to become useless, was countered, facing area of effect abilities, especially those unleashed by experts like Ning Chuan and Zhu Zhuqing, he had almost no effective countermeasures. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been unable to even defeat Zhu Zhuqing, being caught by her exploiting the flaw in his chaotic cloak hammer technique, crumbling at the first touch. On the other side, back in the rest area, Ning Chuan took Zhu Zhuqing back to their camp. How was it? What's the effect? Ning Chuan was asking about Zhu Zhuqing's reaction after using her external spirit bone to devour Dai Mubai's life force and spirit power. According to Ning Chuan's estimation, this Black Widow possessed a devouring ability comparable to the man-faced demon spider and could devour energy of different attributes, converting it into her own energy. If Zhu Zhuqing devoured Dai Mubai, there might be a possibility of evolving into a hell-white tiger. As for defeating Tang San, all of this was within expectations. After all, Zhu Zhuqing herself had cultivated the mysterious heaven treasure record. Her spirit power was higher than Tang San's, and she had developed the mutated spirit ability of Netherworld 100 Claws, capable of unleashing claw light casually without relying on spirit rings. Knowing all of Tang San's information, as well as the clear sky hammer's weaknesses, and with her external spirit bone capable of countering Tang San's 3rd and 4th spirit abilities, there was simply no reason for her to lose. Upon hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing said nothing superfluous, directly summoning her Hell Civet spirit and completing its possession. However, this was different from her previous Hell Civet possession. This time, the Hell Civet had undergone some subtle changes. If one observed carefully, they would notice faint patterns on the Hell Civet spirit that had never appeared before, identical to those on Dai Mubai's white tiger spirit. Zhu Zhuqing said, "After absorbing a portion of Dai Mubai's life force and spirit power, I clearly felt a stirring in my spirit. Years ago, my Hell Civet spirit had resonated with Dai Mubai's white tiger spirit, but for some reason, it disappeared on the day of the Shrek enrollment. This stirring is somewhat similar to the stirring of spirit resonance, yet not entirely the same. My spirit seems to crave Dai Mubai's spirit power and life force." Chapter 194, Autistic Tang San Ning Chuan said, "The Hell Civet and White Tiger are already 2 highly compatible spirits, capable of forming the martial soul fusion skill, Hell White Tiger. Although for some special reason, the spirit resonance between you and Dai Mubai disappeared, the compatibility still exists. If you devour him, you should have a very high chance of completing your spirit evolution. However, what is gained through devouring is never truly cultivated by oneself, and there will be certain hidden dangers. Moreover, if the news leaks, it's easy for Spirit Hall to label you as an evil spirit master. After devouring Dai Mubai, you must not use this ability casually again. Look at you. I'm not that kind of malicious woman who would resort to anything to quickly improve her strength." Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes. "Whether you're a malicious woman or not, I'll have to check first. Ning Chuan said with a lewd smile. Don't. Amidst Zhu Zhuking's surprised cry, Ning Chuan released his devouring gold bugs to block the doors and windows. Compared to the joy on Ning Chuan's side, Tang San's side was quite miserable. From the large training ground all the way to the barracks, Tang San's mind kept replaying the entire process of his match against Zhu Zhuking today. For him, it was far more than just losing a match. Before, when he lost to Ning Chuan, he could comfort himself by thinking that he possessed an external spirit bone and twin spirits, and that once he cultivated his second spirit, the clear sky hammer, he could surpass the other party. But this time, losing to Zhu Zhuking, he couldn't accept it. While it was true that his opponent's fourth spirit ability was exceptionally powerful, it was more about how he was suppressed by Zhu Zhuking in all aspects. First, his greatest reliance, the Tang sect's secret skills, was seen through. Then his 8 spider lances were nullified by the opponent's external spirit bone. Even the 2 spider-type spirit abilities absorbed by his blue-silver grass beyond its age limit were countered by the opponent's external spirit bone. The clear sky hammer spirit was utterly useless in the face of the opponent's extraordinary speed. In fact, its clumsiness made him a living target. Finally, and most unacceptably to him, was the confrontation in the final stage. Relying on his own talent, he barely managed to achieve dual tasking. But Zhu Zhuking was even stronger, performing the astonishing feat of triple tasking, which led to his defeat and him being gutted. And before this, Zhu Zhuking had absolutely no such powerful strength. Yet merely by staying with Ning Chuan for 2 years, she had progressed to such an extent. Not only did her spirit power continuously rise, reaching level 43, but her combat ability also saw a leap forward, and she even obtained that external spirit bone. According to Yu Xiaogang's theory, an external spirit bone only has a chance of being obtained during the process of absorbing a spirit ring. But if it hasn't been fused, it can be peeled off from the host's body. Upon careful thought, this was completely contradictory, yet he had believed it to be true. Most crucially, Zhu Zhuking's 4th spirit ring was clearly not obtained from a spider-type spirit beast. For the 3rd spirit ring, he had never heard of any spider-type spirit beast that could grant a beast spirit master the ability to create clones. In other words, Zhu Zhuking's external spirit bone was very likely obtained from the Black Widow's corpse he had killed back then. That spirit bone should have belonged to him. It should have belonged to him. Although his underground devil spider external soul bone was not inferior to the Black Widow's in all aspects, except for lacking poison, and was even slightly better, if Zhu Zhuking hadn't possessed that Black Widow external soul bone, she absolutely would not have been his opponent. Most importantly, and most critically, the more one has done something wrong, the more one will hate similar things happening to oneself. In Tang San's view, he had already proven his integrity by taking the mysterious heaven treasure record and jumping off a cliff. But Zhu Zhuking was completely fine. This was absolutely unforgivable. Whether it was Zhu Zhuking or Ning Chuan, who helped her steal the external spirit bone that should have belonged to him, both had chosen a path to their demise. When he destroys Spirit Hall in the future, he must settle accounts with these two. At the same time, Tang San also profoundly realized his own shortcomings. The clear sky hammer's attacks were too singular now, making it too easy for others to target him. He absolutely needed to acquire an area of effect skill and a long-range attack skill. Thinking this, Tang San bid farewell to the Shrek people, and just like in the original work when Waterbinger broke his mentality, he left in self-imposed isolation. And this was already who knows how many times he had gone into self-imposed isolation. The first time was in the Stardew Great Forest, after Xiao Wu was captured by the Titan giant ape. He could only watch helplessly, as Ning Chuan pursued her while he could only stare blankly. The second time was in the preliminary rounds when he was completely controlled by Waterbinger from start to finish. He only managed to win by relying on his external spirit bone. The third defeat was an overwhelming defeat by Ning Chuan, who possessed superior strength. The fourth defeat, and the one he found most unacceptable, was losing to Zhu Zhuking, someone whose strength was once far inferior to his. This was what caused him the most pain. Watching Tang Xin walk into the barracks alone, all the Shrek people, except Xiao Wu, couldn't help but feel a bit downcast, especially Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Yu Tianheng. Let alone Tang San, even they were all startled by the strength Zhu Zhuqing displayed. Among them, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing's former fiancé, was like a wilted eggplant, utterly dispirited. He was already in despair. Not only had he become a eunuch, but now even his most relied-upon strength had been lost to Zhu Zhuqing. Even if he defeated Dai Weisi in the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament Finals, having lost his lower 3 paths and his fiancé, he would not be qualified to inherit the Star Luo Empire's throne. He had no future. However, he would absolutely not let Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Chuan, that dog couple, have an easy time. Even if he died, he would drag the two of them down with him. Tang Xin stayed alone in the barracks, with the doors and windows tightly shut. The dim environment and quiet world gradually calmed his heart, but he did not cultivate. In his mind, he was always enveloped by a fog. He couldn't figure out where his problems lay, nor did he understand which direction he should take. First, it was certain that he had been led down the wrong path by Yu Xiaogang, but if he were to seek out Louise, she was Ning Chuan's teacher, and who knew if she would harm him. Tang Xin even suspected that last time, when she suggested he absorb the underground devil spider spirit ring, it was to allow Zhu Zhuqing to counter him. 3 days passed quickly. Tang Xin thought a lot, but the more he thought, the more chaotic his heart became. He had not rested, eaten or drunk anything, nor had he participated in any matches. He remained in this hazy state day after day, his heart constantly tormented. As the saying goes, no comparison, no harm. Ever since becoming a spirit master, he had always stood at the pinnacle among his peers, while Ning Chuan was publicly acknowledged by the academy as having a trash spirit. Although Ning Chuan had cultivated from half a level of innate spirit power to 10 levels in just 1 year, he still hadn't paid it any mind. Subscribe for more amazing novel audiobooks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share Infinite Novel Audio.